was called E3, an expo where gamers saw uncensored graphics and hardcore games. Until the businessmen took control. With gamers locked out, only 4 brave heroes can break back in E3 Grindhouse. Kevin Pereira. Exclusive footage and developer interviews are his religion.
Padre, aren't you scared to be trapped in here with these businessmen?
You got it wrong, Chico. Those businessmen, they're trapped in here with me.
Olivia Munn. She's one hot mama with a penchant for digging up inside info.
Shoot anyone who comes through that door. What if it's Kevin? Especially if it's Kevin.
Morgan Webb. Her skill with a blade is matched only by her knowledge of Nintendo's fall lineup.
I have an eye patch and a katana. What did you think was going to happen?
And Adam Sessler. His prescription for the E3 blues is pain.
When is Metal Gear Solid 4 coming out?
I don't know. It might not even be exclusive to the PS3.
Wrong answer.
What'd you do that for? He was telling the truth.
Who are you supposed to be anyway?
3 adrenaline-fueled days of gaming. Welcome to the E3 Grindhouse.
Once upon a time, they told you not to play video games, but they don't understand. We don't play, we battle, we conquer, we compete for glory. In 1,000 different worlds, in 1,000 different lives, where we're heroes and rock stars, and everything is possible. Once upon a time, they told you not to play video games. And once a year, the world's greatest game developers converge to present their dazzling visions for our future. But for the first time ever, access to this historic event has been limited to the industry elite. There are no tickets for sale, no passes to be bought, and only one way to see it all. G4. 3 days, 11 locations, thousands of new titles, billions of dollars at stake, and G4 is the only network who can cover it all. This is where the next chapter in the console wars will be written. G4 presents E307 Live.
Welcome, everybody, to E307 Live, presented by Scion.
That's right.
Yeah, it's okay to be excited. It's only the biggest week in gaming. My name is Kevin Pereira.
That's right. I'm Olivia Munn. It is Wednesday, July 11th, and we are coming to you live from Barker Hangar right here in Santa Monica, California.
The entire video game industry has assembled here to reveal the latest and greatest in the world of video gaming. Of course, G4 is here all week, and for the next 3 hours, we're going to take you inside for all the big announcements, exciting new breakthroughs, and exclusive info on your favorite and, of course, your soon-to-be favorite video game.
And you'll want to keep it tuned right here because this year E3 is invite only. But you guys, don't worry. We know some people, and we will be your all-access pass to this exclusive event with hands-on demos of the most buzzed-about new games, plus exclusive interviews with some of the biggest insiders in the business.
Now, that's right. This year's event covers more square miles than any E3 in history.
Yeah, that's right. And that's because the industry players aren't just here, but spread out over 11 locations. And, of course, that means we are too. Jeff Keighley and Adam Sessler are in nearby Culver City at the Sony event. Guys?
Thanks, Kevin and Olivia. We're here in Culver City, where Sony just wrapped up the PlayStation briefing. Big news, the announcement of the Slimline PSP and Killzone 2. It's real and it's spectacular. We saw the real gameplay, and more details on that coming up.
Of course, earlier we also got to see Super Mario Galaxy, Metro Prime 3 Corruption, a game for the Wii that helps you watch your way into High School Musical for the DS. You'll learn about most of those games later on. But first, let's check out with Blair at the Fairmont.
Hey, Adam, I'm live at the Fairmont Hotel, where I'll be covering a lot of the exciting new releases from IDOS, LucasArts, Konami, and many other gaming developers. And right now, Will O'Neill is down the street covering a lot of the other big gaming companies.
That's right, Blair. I'm a few blocks south of the Fairmont Hotel and Shutters here in Santa Monica, where Sony Online Entertainment and a few other developers are stationed. Now, I'll have updates throughout the day, but first, I want to check in with my boy Zach Selwyn on the floor at Barker Hangar. What's up, dog?
Thanks,
Will. Now, I'm actually roaming around here on the floor of E307. It's getting crazy. Over 33 different game companies have set up shop at all of these different booths that you see surrounding me, and we're going to get down and dirty with each and every one of them. In the meantime, though, let's go over to Morgan Webb, who is live at the Fairmont.
Thanks, Zach. We are all over the place today. I'm at the Fairmont. I'm talking about EA. I'm going to be talking about Activision. I'm going to be bringing you live updates all afternoon, so you guys need to stay tuned. And let's go back to the stage with Kevin and Olivia.
All right, thanks, Morgan. As you can see, we've got this thing covered. Coming up in this hour, we have an exclusive hands-on demo of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed.
We'll also get some FaceTime with Bethesda Softworks' Todd Howard, who will give us a preview of Fallout 3, the long-awaited third installment of this classic RPG franchise.
And we'll be sizing up the next-gen debut of Ratchet & Clank. It looks amazing.
It does. Everyone's talking about that. It's very exciting. To get the full-on E3 experience, you can interact with us live at g4tv.com/E3. For more on that, let's go over to Joel Gordine. Joel?
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Olivia. Are you guys excited about a particular game? You think a new title is overrated? Make yourself heard. Our show is your show. That's why we've got a bunch of killer interactive apps for you at g4tv.com/E3. Become one of our expert analysts. Get your face on TV by dropping us a webcam comment. We'll plug you in live to our show. We'll also be taking the temperature on all the hot button topics here at the Expo. Our first question, one that a lot of people are debating. Should E3 be open to the industry only, gamers only, the media only, or should it just be open to everyone? Give us your answer at g4tv.com/E3 or text E3 to G4TXT. Now, throughout the day, you can also use our online buzz meter to tell us whether the games you've seen have max buzz and which are a buzz kill. We started ranking titles during our preview show. So far, you're saying Medal of Honor Airborne has medium buzz, kind of like a controller on permanent vibrate, while Spore is pushing towards the max. When you see this buzz meter icon, go to g4tv.com/E3 and vote. Back to you, Olivia.
Okay, thanks, Joel. It is time for our first hands-on demo, the very rad Assassin's Creed, which made a lot of noise when it first appeared at last year's E3. Let's take a look.
Assassin's Creed is the much-anticipated multi-platform game from Ubisoft. Set amidst the Third Crusade, you are Altair, an elite assassin sent to kill the men who are responsible for tearing the Holy Land apart. God knows your lonely souls. You uncover a conspiracy that has deep implications that can affect this pivotal moment in history and perhaps the future as well.
All right, joining us now is Jade Raymond, the executive producer of Assassin's Creed. You're going to take us through the game. Now, this is running real time. We have someone playing off camera right now.
He's
this
right
is all
there.
in 360. So it's happening now. Is this the same build that we saw last night?
This is the same build. This is our first hands-on that we're letting journalists touch today, and you guys get to see it right here live.
All right, so we just saw a swan dive into a bale of hay, and now I think, if I remember correctly, we're going to see some crowd AI going on here. What work have you guys done on making this crowd react naturally and realistically with the player?
Well, crowd is one of the promises of Next Gen, and we didn't want to just make crowd that's window dressing. We want to make sure this adds gameplay. So back in the day, you know, you had traditional gameplay traps like fire pits or things that were spinning that you had to avoid. Right now, it's the crowd. So you can see this lady with the jar on her head. We just went by. We smashed a few in last night's demo.
Yeah,
that's like
that.
a walking time bomb. If you were doing that in front of guards, that would let off an alert that the assassin is there. And there's hundreds and hundreds of different characters,
and
each
thousands
with their
of
own
street
AI.
cleaners getting the broken pieces of clay out of the way.
Hey. Yeah, they pass at night though.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you
good.
don't have, there's
you don't
no
have to worry about
gameplay
that.
involved
Good.
in that, no.
All right, so now tell me about some of this stuff here. Now we saw last night, again, we saw some pot AI. We saw the guy doing some free running, some crazy late parkour type stuff. Can you truly go anywhere and latch onto anything in this game?
Yeah, we started off this demo with a big view of a brand new city we haven't shown yet, that you may have heard of, Jerusalem. And every single building in there, everything is interactive. So not only can you go wherever you want, but you pick your own path.
This is a separate path from a different demo that we had seen previously. What are we seeing here?
Right now, Pascal, who's playing here, just threw a guard off of the side, and that created a dead body because he kind of hurt himself falling,
sure.
And that attracted the attention of the
Dead
other
bodies
guards.
and pots, that's what the city is all about. That will get anybody's attention, right?
Dead bodies more so.
More so,
The
okay.
guards will come running and they'll actually leave their post. And so they were performing an important job of guarding the entrance to this guy's hideout where you're going to go assassinate him. And that, because they saw this dead guard, they're like, okay, what went on? And that gave you time to sneak by them.
So now, obviously, this guy here is on a mission. How is the mission structure for the game laid out? Because I know it's 3 giant cities. Do you just go in and pick a mission as it goes? Is it a linear experience? How does that work?
Well, you get some orders from the head of the assassins, and he basically tells you, I want you to take out these 9 guys who are causing the Third Crusade to happen, profiting from it, and he gives you a list. And you get them in a certain order, but you can also, sometimes you may have 3 guys' names, and you can decide in what order you want to take them out. One may be in one city, one may be in another city. You get on your horse, you decide where you want to go, and you try and track them down.
Now here we see the character getting trapped, and this is where we get a glimpse into the fighting mechanics. Everybody's focusing on stealth in this game, but it looks like you have a pretty in-depth fighting system as well.
Yeah, I think when you hear the word assassin, you think stealth. But really, this is not a stealth game. This is a game where you're free running. You can pick your own style. If you wanted to go past those guards that were guarding the way instead of going around them, you could have engaged in a fight with them.
Sure.
And we've spent a lot of time on the fight mechanics.
Now, is this button mashing here? Is there a different? Are there button combos? Can we throw like a Ryu fireball? How do?
No fireballs.
Okay.
But this is a very realistic fight system. It's based on very precise timing, counterattacks, and combos. And what you want to do is pay close attention to the animation that your enemy is playing. If they're coming to attack you, that's a perfect time to land a counterattack, just like Pascal did right here. And then you get 3 in a row, and you get a crazy combo kill.
Now, Jade, I have been psyched for this game. I know a lot of people have. The hype has been through the roof. We saw the demo last night. We saw a guy get glitched as he's falling off the building. We saw your reaction to diving into the hay, and the crowd didn't seem to respond. Should we be worried? Is this just because you guys were cobbling together an E3 build? Give me some reassurance.
Okay, well, this is a normal part of development. I mean, you normally make the game, and then you spend the last stretch debugging it. So right now, we're at a stage where we're entering the debug phase of development, and that's what we're going to spend the next 3 months doing, like polishing, getting rid of those bugs. And honestly, the guy floating there, that's already fixed back in the office. It's not a big deal bug.
Sure. Well, you know, on the message boards, everything's a big deal. But it's good to at least hear it right from you that these will be ironed out. So in 3 months' time, we can expect to actually play Assassin's Creed?
This November 2007 is going to be on store shelves.
Awesome. Jade, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. The game looks amazing. Great. Joel's been watching our demo with a viewer actually on Stickcam. Let's check in with him right now.
Thank you, Kevin. I am on the Stickcam with Richard from San Antonio. Richard, you just saw our live demo of Assassin's Creed. What do you think was the coolest part?
The ability to actually go into a crowd of people and just disappear.
The interactivity, then.
Yes.
The interactivity. I agree. I think the interactivity of the crowd is pretty fantastic. It's only accentuated by the animation. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the movement of the people, like, for instance, brushing past the average pedestrian, or the acrobatics we saw from UB before, maybe in the Sands of Time. It's pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah, and also the blending in the crowd.
Absolutely. Yeah, the lighting engine is pretty fantastic as well. What did you think of the shadows and the lighting in Jerusalem?
They were actually pretty awesome, though. They were better than before.
Yeah, absolutely. Highly anticipated game. That's the word from the street. Kevin, take it away.
All right, thanks, Joe. Why blend in with the crowd when you can shove them all? I just want to shove women all day long in the next generation. That's what I'm looking for. That was Assassin's Creed to the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Of course, we've only just begun our day here. Check out what's coming up on G4's live coverage of E307.
Later, we'll get our gaming hands on Heavenly Sword for the PS3, so you can tell us if it makes the cut, and we'll ratchet up the buzz meter for an exclusive live demo of Insomniac's Ratchet & Clank. Plus, Microsoft's CEO Peter Moore goes head-to-head with Jeff Keighley about the Xbox maker's plans, while Morgan fills us in on all the other huge press announcements here at E307 Live, only on G4.
Welcome back to E307 Live, presented by Scion.
This is it, folks, the event of the year where we get a look at the next generation of gaming.
Yeah, that's right. This time around, E3 is invitation only, but do not worry. G4 has VIP Pass. VIP!
We're very important
And so
people.
are you guys.
Darn it. We'll be giving you a hands-on first look at all the new games and bringing you the industry's big announcements the absolute minute that they happen.
That's right. E3 is more exclusive than ever this year, and we want to know what you guys think about this big change. Should E3 be open to the industry only, gamers only, the media only, or should its doors be open to everybody? That is our first viewer poll question of the day, and you can give us your answer online at g4tv.com/E3 or text E3 to G4TXT on your mobile phone.
I say keep the doors closed to everyone.
Really?
I want to see thousands of angry people
Then
banging.
they couldn't enjoy all this noise that we hear behind us right now. They're moving carts around.
And planes are landing. It happens. We're at a hangar. Right now, though, it's time for FaceTime. Presented by Sprite as our very own Morgan Webb talks with Todd Howard from Bethesda Softworks. Morgan.
Hey guys, I'm here with Todd Howard, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about Fallout 3. I know everyone's very excited for this, so why don't you give us the quick elevator pitch about what Fallout 3 is?
Imagine Leave It to Beaver with laser guns. That world was nuked. The whole world is destroyed, and it's hundreds of years after that, and it's a role-playing game set in this very unique post-apocalyptic world where everything is destroyed, but people are still trying to keep their hair nice, and everything's fine, partner, but not sure it is.
Well, it is good to keep your hair nice. Now, this, of course, Fallout 3, not the first Fallout game in the franchise. How faithful is it going to be to the other games?
In terms of the world and the texture of it and the tone and the lore, it's very, very faithful. As far as how the game is presented, it's very, very different. You know, those games are 10 years old, so now with the presentation we can do now, and because it's role-playing, we want you to feel that you are this person in the world. So it really, really spent a lot of time making it come to life. All the little buttons on the machines and the texture of the leather on the chairs and all of that. So presentation is very, very state-of-the-art.
Okay, now people have been a little bit worried that this is going to be just a shooter. Like, what kind of RPG elements, what kind of strategy elements are we going to see?
Well, it is a role-playing game, so even though these things are happening in real time, they're all governed by your own stats. So there's a bit of run and gunning. So on the surface, it looks like, you know, brand new sexy first-person shooter, but the things that are going on underneath are very, very detailed in terms of your character statistics. And then we have a new combat mode called VATS, the Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting System, and this allows you to stop time and kind of queue up combat moves, and you see the points, you see the chance to hit, and you can do that when you want, and it kind of grounds it in that role-playing and decision-making for the players.
Okay, now how similar is it going to be to Oblivion?
Well, it's similar in that it's a big, wide-open role-playing game. That's what we like about the first game. So, you know, you can draw that similarity, but the Fallout 1 has that similarity. Like, you make the character you want, you go out in this wide-open world, and you do what you want. So that's the main similarity. It is first-person, so there's some similarity there. But we do have a third-person mode that's very advanced, kind of over-the-shoulder, Resident Evil, Gears of War style that feels good. So we really approach it as its own unique game, but at the same time, it has the hallmarks that we like about big, epic role-playing games. That's what we, you know, try to do.
Awesome. Well, we cannot wait to play it. We're very excited. All right, Olivia, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Morgan. Here is Kevin getting some FaceTime with Matt Webster from Criterion Games, the makers of the Gonzo Racing Series Burnout.
All right, thanks, Olivia. Matt, let's get into it. This is the 5th installment of the Burnout series, and it's a next-gen Burnout, but didn't I already play a Burnout game on the 360?
Yeah, you would have played Revenge on 360, but that was kind of practice for us. It was really good. They got us into the hardware, but this one is written from the ground up.
Ground up with the next gen in mind, completely new engine, new graphics, sound, etc.
Yeah, everything's brand new. You know, all the tools that we use to make the game, but also what moving to next gen allowed us to do was to break some of those constraints that we had on the previous generations, and that's what you see in Burnout Paradise right now.
Well, let's talk about the city that is Paradise City. I mean, you could take me down there. I'm not gonna. I guess I did just make.
Yeah, you did just.
I kind of had to. I'm sorry, but what's so unique about the city? It's not modeled after anything that we know, right?
No, I mean it's inspired by reality, but built for gameplay. I mean, that's what we say. And it's, you know, other open world games, you know, maybe have an accurate representation of a city, but
look,
we
New
wanted...
York City looks cool, but it's not exactly that fun to drive in. There's no insane jumps and billboards to go crash.
Yeah, and that's what Burnout's all about, right? You know, it's all about, you know, getting in a car and doing all the things that you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, and in this game, we're getting into the car. We're not getting into a menu system that's 40 options deep to actually play the game, right?
Absolutely right. I mean, we wanted to build a city, put you in a car, and let you have fun. I mean, obviously we've got, you know, the aggressive driving of Burnout, where you take down your rivals. You got the speed, and you're going to be racing, but you're going to be doing all these other things. So, you know, it's your game at your pace. You can just decide to do whatever you want to do.
And I saw the game at your booth. I said, tell me about the online experience. I want it to be seamless. You hit a button, it popped open a friend invite. You had a buddy join your game right away. And then once you slammed into him, his car crashed. What happened on the screen?
Well, what happened there is the mugshot. Well, we call them mugshots. So whenever you take down a buddy online, if they've got the PlayStation Eye or the vision camera on 360, you take someone down online, we fire the camera, and their crash face gets sent to you.
It actually takes a snapshot of them in the moment.
Takes a snapshot in their moment. Or actually, we give you a bit of time so you can pose for it.
Or have your buddy run to put his, his nether regions right in front of the camera.
I think those things are going to happen.
They are going to happen.
Yeah.
And actually, it saves all those mug shots that you can perhaps even send them to friends.
Yeah, we're gonna save them. We're gonna put them in the lineup, and we're gonna let people export them out and do some things with them, cool things with them. But mainly it was that seamless online that was really, really important for us. We didn't want people waiting with lists, really dry lists. We want them to be playing the game whilst waiting for people.
And I think you guys have pulled it off. I'm super excited. If there's one feature that you're most personally excited about that you think the viewers have to know about, what is it?
It's the insane sense of speed and the crashes. The crashes, moving the next generation has allowed us to twist and wrap and bend metal like we've never been able to do before, and that's what people want to see.
I can't wait to get my hands on it. Do we have a release date yet, or are we just
winter release date?
Winter release date. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. The game looks amazing.
Yeah, thank you very
much. Congrats on it. Everybody, we're going back to Olivia Munn.
All right, thanks, Kev. Let's check in right now with Blair Butler, who's at one of the E3 hotels for this on-location report.
Thanks, Olivia. I'm here at the Fairmont Hotel with Ken from Konami to talk about Hellboy, The Science of Evil. Now, tell me a little bit about the game.
Well, the game itself, obviously, just like Mike Mignola's creation of Hellboy, so here we wanted to make sure to preserve his world and his vision in the game.
And I heard a lot of the people associated with the movie actually participated in the game.
Yeah, we've certainly got Ron Perlman reprising his role and voices, as well as a lot of the other actors with some of the new characters as well.
And it's on the Xbox 360, the PS3, the PSP. Now, it's an action-based game, correct?
Certainly it is an action-based game, but I mean, it certainly wouldn't be Hellboy if there was an action part of it.
Right. So it's a beat 'em up.
Yeah, there's lots of beat 'em up elements, but I mean, hey, he's also a detective, so we wanted to make sure you get adventure elements in there too.
Right. And so how does the comic book and the world of Mike Mignola really influence this game?
Well, I mean, just from the look and feel, we wanted to make sure we preserve his sort of color scheme, the world, and that entire feeling. I mean, Mike Mignola's got a great vision in his comic book, and we wanted to have that there while at least still giving it a video game spin as well.
Gotcha.
And he's been very supportive of that.
Very cool. So when is the release date for the game?
We're looking at a fall release for this title.
I'm sure the Hellboy fans will be excited. Back to you guys.
All right, still ahead, this year's E3 is leaner and meaner than ever. We're going to discuss why they decided to trim a little bit of the fat.
That's right. We'll also be taking a first look at Warhawk, the eagerly awaited multiplayer fight combat game for the PS3.
Plus, we get the inside word on the 360 and everything Microsoft directly from their Vice President, Peter Moore.
And we'll be checking out Fracture, an all-new terrain-altering adventure game from the creators of the Mech Assault series. Our live coverage of E3 07 continues in just a moment, only here on G4.
E3 07 Live is presented by Scion. Cars that are as unique as the people who drive them. Scion, what moves you? And also brought to you by Sprite with Lyman. Thank you and obey.
Welcome back to our exclusive live coverage of the largest video games expo in the country. We are here at E3 in Santa Monica, California with all the latest games, news, and previews.
Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft have also weighed in with some big announcements at their media events. We'll have more on that as well.
That's right. Now, one of the things we're seeing this year is a ton of sequels as game franchises move to the next-gen platforms. But you don't have to take my word for it. Here are the top 5 E3 game titles that end in 4. Project Gotham Racing 4, Devil May Cry 4, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Grand Theft Auto 4, and finally, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Now, we've been at E3 covering their releases each year, which kind of makes us a sequel too. Now it's time for The Loop, our Take No Prisoners debate on the issues of the day. Today, we start with a discussion of the major changes made to this year's E3. Kevin?
Yes, thanks, Olivia. E3 is definitely a much different event this year. Here's one of our viewers who actually has a question about the changes that were made.
We think this is a good idea now that E3 has banned the general public from the convention.
Well, you know, the general public was actually never really allowed into the event. You had to either have a pass or work at an EB Games or have a LiveJournal account where you complained about Final Fantasy a whole lot, and then that qualified you to be a journalist to actually get into the event. But this year, it's been whittled down from like 60,000 people to, I think, just 3,000 or so. There's a lot of changes. It's a great question. Let's actually get into it, discuss in depth. My guest tonight, senior gaming editor at Penthouse Magazine, Rebecca Swanner is here, and blogger for joystick.com, Kyle Orland. Thank you for joining us. I know E3 is a little crazy. We appreciate the time.
Definitely.
Kyle, how has E3 changed this year aside from just cutting the numbers?
Well, it's really everything has been cut down. It's like the same E3, but light. It's E3 light.
It's the new print. It's little yellow,
different. You know, they've got the same press conferences, but they're revealing less and less. They've got the same show floor right behind us, but there's fewer people.
And
there's
where's the 360-degree screens
there's
that we
not
had
the
last
glitz
year?
and glamour.
Yeah. And Rebecca, aren't you going to miss like the 50-foot plasmas and the smoke machine and the burnt model flesh?
Well, yeah, but the thing is that it's a little more efficient this year. You know, we can go hit the big publishers, go down the line. But I think I'm really missing all the indie games I saw last year. I could sort of just wander in, see some really cool peripherals, or say, hey, what's that game?
Kensha Hall.
They have the Indiecade showcase down there, but that's only like a few games. It's not the same.
I mean, do you think these companies are struggling? It's weird seeing just like a 10x10 space for Sony, for Microsoft, Nintendo. Are they doing okay with that space?
I think they are. It's really nice that you can actually hear yourself think. You can actually talk to the people.
That's true. There's way less hype this year.
Yeah. Last year it was all about, you know, who had the biggest screen, who had the most impressive booth. There were all these photo galleries of booths. That kind of distracted from the games, which are what's supposed to be important at the show.
But I also think, I think that, like, it's great to see the games in that environment because, it's supposed to feel like an arcade. You're supposed to be excited about these games.
Right.
And
I'm supposed to be fighting cleavage and body odor to actually get 5 minutes with a title.
Oh, there was a lot of body odor.
That's true. There's still plenty of that this year. I mean, now that the big three, they've had their media events, the cards are on the table. Do we think Sony is turning the tide with the hardcore gamers now?
I think they're still going to have an uphill battle against the 360. I mean, the biggest thing that I saw today was, I'm really glad that my PSP now can have a cord so I can see it, on a beautiful television.
I'm glad I got this portable gaming system so now I can stop,
now I have
plug
to
it in,
stay at home to play my thing.
Exactly. Kyle, what about the Wii? Is Nintendo dominating? I mean, a light gun attachment,
it's weird.
A fitness peripheral?
Yeah, they're dominating in sales, but I don't think people are buying as many games. They get it for Wii Sports and they play Wii Sports for, a week or so. I'm not sure they're buying as many games. Wii Fit is really a big thing. I think when people are going to buy that, I see that game, that's a game my mother would play. Right. And I don't say that about any games. Right. Really, I think she would get on that and really enjoy it.
That's a game my mother would hang coats on like every other piece of fitness equipment that she did.
I think it'll work out for people who like DDR and who like Kinetic and like those kind of games, sort of pull it all together so you don't have to rearrange all the lighting in your house to actually play the game.
It's a really simpler version of those types of games. It's really accessible for anyone.
All right, well, very quickly, getting back to the convention itself, will next year's E3 be the same or is it going to be different?
I think it'll probably be very similar if it exists at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. Will there be an E3 next year? Everyone's doing their own Gamers Day events, and you fly across the country to show the games just for them. They don't really need this industry-wide event with only 3,000 journalists.
And there's still GDC and Tokyo Game Show.
But would you guys be sad to see it go personally?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's the note that everybody needs to know. Do not get rid of E3.
Please.
Bigger.
Bigger and better.
Like
Rebecca, Kyle, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Great
really appreciate it. Pleasure talking to you. I'll let you get back to the games. Now, earlier, we asked you who you thought should be allowed into E3. Here's what you said. Oh, big surprise here. You said that E3 should be open to everyone. What were the odds? I'd be doing some Assassin's Creed crowd shoving to get to the stage. I'm kind of glad it's not. Later, we tackle a topic on the lips of everybody here in the wake of Rockstar's Manhunt 2 being banned overseas. Of course, it's video game censorship. Is there a double standard between video games and movies? Of course, that brings us to our next online poll question. Who should regulate content in video games? Is it parents, the industry, the government, or nobody at all? Log on now to g4tv.com/E3 or text E3 to G4TXT on your little cell phone and make your voice heard. All right, now let's check in with Olivia Munn. Olivia.
Thanks, Kev. Now, you guys, don't go anywhere. When we we come back, Morgan checks in live from the site of the EA press conference to give us their breaking news. Also, Jeff Keighley will go head-to-head with Microsoft's main man for the inside word on all things 360, and later we'll see if the force is with LucasArts when they reveal the details of their latest title. Stay tuned to G4. We are your exclusive live hookup to E3.
E307 Live is brought to you by Code Monkeys, a new animated comedy of 8-bit proportions. Premieres tonight at 9 p.m. only on G4.
Welcome back to E307 Live on G4, presented by Scion. We are having a great time, right?
I love it.
It's exciting out here. Now, for the past 2 days, this Santa Monica, California airplane hangar will serve as the center of the gaming universe. If you're a hardcore gamer, this is definitely the only place to be.
Yeah, and because the expo is invite only this year, lots of people who would like to be here, sadly they just can't get in, but no worries. Let us do the running around for you. We've got the entire thing covered for late breaking news and first look demos.
That's right. Right now, let's go live to Morgan Webb at the Fairmont Hotel for an update on Microsoft's big news. Morgan.
Yes, now there are media events all the time. E3 this year is nothing but media events. We're talking about EA, we're talking about Activision, we're talking about Midway, but right now we're going to take a look at Microsoft. They started it all off yesterday with a bang.
I'm here today to show you Gears on PC. Now, Gears was celebrated for its integrated co-op experience, and we're bringing that experience to Windows courtesy of Games for Windows Live. I got a little demo up here I'd like to invite my buddy Rod to show off with you. Just give me a second here, I'll fire it up. There's my controller. There we go. You can just call this up, find him online here. Hey, Rod's online. Hey, Rod, play a game with me. There we go. Now that'll take a quick second. Gears of War on PC features 5 new single-player chapters. It features a new multiplayer mode, new multiplayer arenas, as well as new achievements. And after we shipped Gears on PC, we got a lot of feedback from people that they wanted to fight against the Brumac, which was that giant creature that you guys recall from the trailers. Well, now you're going to be able to see that, and I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of that battle right here.
There it is. Now what? Now, piss it all. How do we take out the big gun?
The Microsoft press conference was such a spectacle. It was really great to see all of those beautiful games on the big screen. Really got everyone excited again for Halo 3 and Gears of War and all those great games. So you guys have to stay tuned, though, because we have so much more these press conferences coming up, so much more action. So stay tuned. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right. Thanks, Morgan. Now let's go over to Zach Selwyn reporting live from the floor of E3.
Thanks, Olivia. Now, you know I love sports, so I had to find the coolest sports games on the floor here. My man Jason's playing Madden 08. Dude, what's going on? Is this quicker than last year's version?
It's Madden, baby. It's awesome. It's so much quicker. The control's insane once you get a hold of the ball.
definitely thumbs up on it this year.
Nice. Well, they say it's twice as fast as it has been before. Let me tell you, you've gone like 6 3-and-outs in a row. So well done.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Cool, man. Well, the graphics look killer. Play good deep. Don't let Jeff Garcia get any yards. I want to show you another sports game that's happening here. You may have seen this earlier on the Wii's press conference, but my girl over here is doing a little hula hoop. Nice hip motion there. What are you doing?
I'm doing the hula hoop game.
Yeah?
To catch it with my head when they...
There you go. You got it around your neck. Can you get it around the forehead? Is that what we're going for?
I guess so. I can't do this in real life, though.
Oh, you can't really hula hoop in real life. See that? The Wii helps you live out your fantasies.
Oh, I missed it.
That's all right. You look good doing it. Kevin and Olivia, that's just a couple sports games here on the floor. Back to you guys.
Do the Wii washing machine, Selena.
I got it.
Still ahead on our exclusive live coverage of E3. Adam gets his hands on the game that some people are calling the next God of War, Heavenly Sword.
Yeah, Joel Gordine loves that game. Plus, we'll talk with Sony PlayStation CEO Jack Tretton. He'll tell us what other surprises Sony has up their sleeves.
But first, we speak exclusively to Microsoft VP Peter Moore about the future of Microsoft's gaming empire. That's ahead only on G4's live coverage of E3 2007.
Do that washing.
Welcome back to E307 Live right here on G4. This is America's largest gaming expo, and we're here covering every single inch of it.
That's right. For over a decade, the Electronic Entertainment Expo has been the place for breaking the most exciting gaming news. Starting in 1995, E3 has heralded the birth of 3 generations of gaming consoles. That's a lot.
Yes, but this expo has a really unusual history.
That's right. Throughout the next 2 days, I'll be filling you in on all you need to know about E3. Pick your seats carefully. They will be yours the whole semester. E3 History 101 is in session. By 1995, the game industry had grown so large that it was forced to establish the first electronic entertainment expo, E3. After a brief flirtation with Atlanta, E3 returned to Los Angeles in 1999 with an exclusive contract for the city through 2012. With a new permanent home, E3 started to settle in comfortably, hitting record crowds of more than 62,000 people in the year 2000. But after E3 06, the ESA announced sweeping changes to the format of the convention. This year's E3 is open to only 3,000 to 5,000 people. Each year, E3 has been the battleground for the ongoing console wars. We've got that next time when E3 History 101 continues.
I just got learned.
You
Thank
did
you
a little
for
bit,
that.
and
I appreciate that.
Did you hear the airplanes going over?
I did.
Because we were inside an airplane hangar.
Very cool. Right now, though,
Lots
let's
of
check
exciting
in
stuff.
with one of those console warriors right now. He's the man with a plan for Microsoft's gaming division. It's Peter Moore.
Microsoft Interactive head Peter Moore continues to be a leader in the video game industry. The former Sega president was instrumental in developing the Xbox and Xbox 360. And Moore has announcements about a new wave of titles from Microsoft.
All right, joining me now is Peter Moore, right off stage, first on G4. Thanks for joining us, Peter.
My pleasure, Jeff.
I got to compliment you. A lot of real gameplay, no CG trailer, a lot of game companies.
No hand-waving, no promises. This is it right here, right now. Beginning on September the 25th, Halo 3 will record the biggest launch in entertainment history.
Now, we'll see Halo 3 in September, we know that, but no live gameplay tonight. I think a lot of people were expecting a single-player demo.
Well, we wanted to make sure that we deliver in a very succinct way. We obviously had a lot of demos in there, but what you saw was all, obviously, in-game footage, and was a lot of it single-player.
Xbox has done really well with the hardcore audience.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think part of what you wanted to do with the 360 was sort of metamorphosize from sort of the hardcore to the mainstream.
I think that the ability for us to deliver games like Scenic, like Viva Pinata Party Animals, Naruto, which is a game we need to talk a lot more about because I think it's got a lot of potential. Yeah. I think this is going to be the beginning of what you'll see for a more approachable Xbox 360. With these and all the other games coming this year, you'll understand why this holiday will be unlike anything that's come before it. Nothing should stop you from going out, particularly with that game lineup we just saw, nothing should stop you from going out and buying an Xbox 360 tonight.
Tonight?
That's strong words.
Wow, that's pretty big. So,
I bought 3 of them last night.
Did you?
I was scared.
So you're back to...
Peter scares me, so I have 6 Xboxes now.
Well, maybe Peter should just buy me one
well, 5
tonight.
of them are broken, so.
Still coming up, everyone, we've got a hands-on demo with the PS3's hot new title, Heavenly Sword. You know, Joel passed by and he's like, that's my game.
He is distracted by shiny objects in this game.
In general.
It's filled with plenty of them. Plus, playing now at the E3 Grindhouse, a double feature that's going to melt your face off. Solid Snakes on a Plane and the classic Greek-exploitation thriller, Kratos Jones.
Kratos, all that plus more live coverage from inside the E3 specialty suites right here, only on G4.
Only here?
Stay tuned, that's right.
It's exclusive.
Welcome back to G4's exclusive live coverage of E3. The elite from the gaming world are here showing off their latest and greatest, and we are bringing it all to you as it happens. Right now, let's see what that weapon-toting Lombax is up to in the latest installment of the Ratchet & Clank series, now on the PS3.
The superhero duo Ratchet & Clank are back for more action in the game Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. The 5th game in the series picks up with alien Lombax Ratchet and his robot sidekick Clank planning to face off with a past villain. You can expect lots of new gadgets, weapons, and more exciting adventures when Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction hits stores later this year.
All right, I finally made it back from the Culver Studios. I'm like Mr. Magoo trying to get back over here. And I get to be here with Brian Allgaier from Insomniac, one of the 10 best places to work in the United States. Congratulations on that. And now you're going to walk us through Ratchet & Clank Future, Tools of Destruction.
That's right.
I think first off, everybody has commented, this game is incredible looking. And you are one of the few companies that's gotten to already put a game out on the PS3. How much more of the PS3 are you using with this game that you didn't use with Resistance?
Well, that's true. This is the second game for us on the PS3, and we've been able to optimize all of our core systems. So we've been able to improve the collision, the physics, the lighting, the effects, all with our own technology on our engine. So the game's a lot faster. Our physics engine, I believe, is 4 times as fast as it was on Resistance.
All right, and so now we're watching some of the game in action right here. Where are we and what's happening?
Well, this is Metropolis, and Ratchet's hometown is under attack by these creatures called Drophids. And Ratchet's got some new tools of destruction. He's got this thing called the Groovatron that he can use to cause enemies to dance.
We're going to see this. And there it is. So it goes up there, and now all the enemies are dancing. And they're looking really cute and everything. And so what are you going to do with that?
Well, you can also turn them into penguins.
Oh, no, now you turn them into penguins. That is probably the most humane thing you can do in a Ratchet & Clank game.
Right.
See penguins or chickens.
And you can make the penguins dance, too.
Oh, that's awesome. So, obviously, there's a whole host of new weapons in the game. Are there different classes of weapons? How are you using the weapons this time around?
Well, we've got a new type of weapon called combat devices. And so in the past, we'd always kind of dumb down some of our weapons because we have a large arsenal. We wanted them all to kind of be equal. But now with combat devices, we can make them even more powerful, much stronger, like the Groovatron or the Transmorpher or the Visicopter. You can throw these things out when you're in a pinch, and they'll just lay waste to everybody.
And also, do you go through the same upgrading of the weapons and upgrading of Ratchet himself throughout the game?
That's correct. We have many different upgrade levels. As you kill enemies, you get experience points. Your weapons become more powerful. We also have a weapons upgrade system where it's like a tree where you can kind of upgrade different branches of it.
So it is a much deeper model than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Now, there's obviously the game series is known for its absolutely exceptional gameplay. How are you holding on to that gameplay but enhancing it with the new power offered to you by the PS3?
Well, I think right off the bat, you can see by the graphics that there's a lot more density, a lot more activity happening on the screen, which creates a very visceral experience. In addition to that, we're taking advantage of stuff like the 6-axis controller. For example, we've got this tornado weapon that you can use a controller to actually move the tornado around, independent of Ratchet.
Wow, okay, and also the AI in the game, you know, sometimes they were more, you had to sort of walk into their point of view before you activated them. How does the AI work in Ratchet & Clank Future?
It's a lot more expressive now. We have the ability to have a lot more animation, so we can do stuff like the Groovatron. In the past, we kind of have to cut some of that flavor stuff out because we just needed to get the basics in. So really, it's about making the enemies more expressive, more fun to kill.
And are we going to have a lot of these sort of small mini games that we saw back in the 3rd installment? We had like the great little 2D platforming with Captain Quark.
That's right. We have a lot more variety now. We're going back to our true roots of making exploration, discovery. There's the mini games. There's Clank.
There's a lot of fun things you can do.
And is Captain Quirk returning in the game?
Yes, he is.
All right, good. Well, I cannot tell you how much I can't wait to play this. When can we hope to get our hands on it?
It's going to be fall 2007.
All right, Brian, thank you so much. And before we go, I think we should go out with maybe one more of the Groovatrons if we can get some enemies to dance.
Ratchet's right now flying.
Right now, he's just flying through the air. All right, good enough. Well, Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I love this game.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, let's go to Joel Gordine with his trusty stick cam to get some live reaction to what we just saw.
Thank you, Adam. I've got Joshua from Orlando, Florida on the stick cam. Joshua, we just took a look at Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction. Tell me, what new weapon are you most excited to get your hands on?
That Groovatron, that looks freaking awesome. Like, what can I say?
Like this, Joshua, like this. But you know, real men, Joshua, real men beat the whole game with the wrench. What do you have to say about that?
I'm not disappointed at all.
It's the right choice, right? Talk to me about the visuals of the game. It's incredibly cinematic. We saw Ratchet grinding the rail and this enormous structure falling behind him. It's a lot like the Fifth Element, right? It's incredibly, it's just beautifully animated. Do you think do you think it's the right age range for you? Would you play it?
Oh my gosh, yes, I would. That's like, it's beautiful. What can you say? If it's beautiful, who doesn't want to play a game that's awesome looking?
It's incredible. It shows we don't need like blown up buildings and guns to make a game playable. You know, it's spectacular.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Adam, back to you.
Thank you so much, Joel, and we'll be right back.
Still ahead, don't call it a comeback. We'll be talking with Sony CEO Jack Tretton about how he plans to knock out the competition with stunning new PS3 titles. Plus, we've got an exclusive look at software giant EA's killer E3 lineup. And for you Wii folks out there, we've got the next-gen preview of the longest-running series in video game history, Super Mario Galaxy. So stay right there.
Solid Snake on a plane. He's trained for stealth and built for thrills. Solid Snake on a plane.
Would you like some pretzels?
I wanted peanuts, not pretzels.
Solid Snake on a plane.
The flight attendants are working for Revolver Ocelot. And they're vampires.
That makes more sense than my last 3 games.
Solid Snake on a plane.
It's time for the in-flight meal. My boot in your ass!
Solid Snake on a plane. Then, who's the man who takes down any god he feels like? Kratos Jones. Can you dig it? Kratos Jones, private investigator and one-man Spartan army. Corrupt cops and out-of-control drug dealers. He's using his own brand of street justice to clean up Athens, Georgia.
I want Kratos Jones out of the picture.
The Irishman.
I ain't gonna let them hurt you no more.
Well, what are you gonna do, sugar?
What I do best.
This is my town, Kratos Jones. Go to Hades.
You first.
He fights evil. He paints his body. He gets the ladies. 250 pounds of pure fury. Kratos Jones at the E3 Grindhouse.
Welcome back to G4's live coverage of E3 2007 presented by Scion. I'm Olivia Munn. This is day 1 of the Electronic Entertainment Expo, and already things are heating up. We've heard tons of exciting announcements and are bringing you all of them as they break. Coming up this hour, we'll go behind the scenes with Naughty Dog, the creators of Jak and Daxter. We'll also check out EA's entire new lineup with Adam Sessler, and we'll go on a wild booth safari as Zach Selwyn roams the expo floor. Right now, let's go on over to Kevin, who's got a first look at Warhawk, the new multiplayer flight combat game for the PS3.
Yes, thank you, Olivia. I have been dying to get my hands on Warhawk. It's still in development, but luckily we got slipped some game footage that I can highlight for you using this telestrator right here. It's not quite hands on the game, but at least I can doodle all over it. Let's take a look at some of the special features here. We have the a little bit of Warhawk footage to play for you, and there it is. First of all, as you can see, the draw distance is absolutely incredible, and if we can hold on a second, let's let it play. And let's Oh, no, I can't freeze. Oh, did you? There was right in that general area was a nice big explosion. Right now there's a plane, but it looks something like that. Let's move it on. Let's keep it going. Amazing particle effects everywhere, and there's this tank on a screen that you just have to see. Wait for it. Now. Oh, this little guy right here. Now, he was setting up a play to get the tank right there, except he got blowed to high hell, and now he's hanging out like a ragdoll in the air. I didn't realize they were going to have ragdoll physics on ground characters in a game that's so heavily based on air combat. It's an awesome feature. The game looks incredible. I'm going to give it a gold star. And there you have it. That's Warhawk, folks. It's awesome. Now let's check in with Olivia, who's back over there.
Thanks so much, Kev. Now, coming up, Sony held their big press conference this morning. We'll talk with the PlayStation CEO himself, Jack Tretton, for an in-depth look at what he's got in store for the PS3 and the PSP in the coming year. And later, when games are compared to movies, is there a double standard? We tackle the game ratings issue and what it means to you guys at home. And still to come, a live hands-on demo of the PS3 exclusive Uncharted Drake's Fortune. There is lots to see and only one place to see it. It's right here on G4. Welcome back to E307 Live on G4. I'm Olivia Munn. Kevin, you can clap. You can be excited.
I'm super excited. Shun all those people. I'm Kevin Pereira. We're coming to you live from Barker Hangar here in Santa Monica, California, where E3 2007 is well underway. Now, this is your exclusive home for the latest video, news, previews, and game demos.
Later tonight on G4, be sure to catch the premiere of Code Monkeys, a new animated comedy from Minority Team creator and longtime Crank Yankers collaborator Adam De La Pena. This show features 8-bit style animation, and it centers around two video game programmers who have to deal with the hostile takeover of their Atari-like company by a crazy Texas millionaire. And it's got the word monkey in the title, so you know it's got to be hilarious. Check out Code Monkeys debuting tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on G4. But right now, let's go on over to Blair Butler, who's covering the scene at the Fairmont Hotel, one of the exclusive locations off the main floor. Blair?
Thanks, Olivia. I'm here at the Fairmont Hotel with David from IDOS to talk about Kane and Lynch. Now, I've seen a little bit of the game, and it is amazingly violent. Tell me what inspired it.
Kane and Lynch is inspired by all the great crime movies that you've ever seen, and it is not a crime game, it's not a heist game, it's really a crime drama told through the story and through two lead characters, Kane and Lynch.
And tell me a little bit about Kane and Lynch and their relationship.
Kane hates Lynch, Lynch hates Kane, and they've got to work together to basically save Kane's wife and daughter.
And how does that work out in the gameplay?
There's constant dialogue between the two characters as the story is told. And as you move through the story, you have to deal with Lynch and his psychotic episodes and all the problems that you face as you go through this crime drama.
Now, some of it is just single player, but at other times it's squad-based.
It's squad-based. You can manage a crew of up to 8 players. It's very simple controls. If your viewers are into IO games, this is made by IO Interactive, makers of Hitman and also Freedom Fighters. And it's a very accessible tactical shooter where it's just simple button commands to guide your entire crew into the mayhem.
And it's very cinematic from what I've seen as well.
I think we're pulling a lot from cinema. The power of PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, high-end PCs allows us now to tell a story with sound and audio and dialogue and really attack the crime movie in the video game genre.
It's a bloody good time. And now when will it be coming out?
Kane and Lynch Dead Man releases in Q4 2007.
Nice. Well, I think everyone's excited to see that. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much for that, Blair. Now, this morning, Sony announced Gran Turismo 5 Prologue is making its long-awaited debut on the PlayStation 3. Let's check it out. All right, we'll get to that a little bit later. Right now, we want a more in-depth look at what Sony has in store for the future. We're going to go head-to-head with a man in charge. I'm sorry, Jack has left the building. He had to go see if the controller was vibrating. I don't think it is. We're going to come right back with more. We've got Gran Turismo. We will have Sony's head honcho and plenty more shiny video games for you to look at right after this. It's E307 Live on G4. Welcome back, everybody. Now with a more in-depth look at what Sony has in store for the future. We're finally going head-to-head with the man in charge, PlayStation CEO, Jack Tretton. Jack is with us now.
Good. Well, thanks very much, Kevin. Joining me right off the stage for his press conference is Jack Tretton. Jack,
Good
how
to
you
be
doing?
here, Jeff.
Great to have you here. Well, let's start this off, Jack. It's 2 years ago at E3. You're on the G4 stage with me. We had a legendary interview about Killzone. That you showed that's what was a CG trailer at the press conference. Everyone was debating, was it you ever going to match it with the game? I saw the game. We saw it at the press conference. I saw it last night. I got to tell you, you got pretty close to that trailer. What do you have to say to those internet haters now who said you were lying?
I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff, because that interview lives in infamy. I've seen it on YouTube for the last 2 years. And if you remember, we were having the discussion about Ted Price and Insomniac and Resistance Fall of Man. And as you know, at the time, I was managing North American development.
Yeah.
And the question was, is that live footage? And I said, Ted Price wanted me to make it crystal clear that it's absolutely all live footage. Now, the European guys, a little bit of a different question, but I wasn't speaking for the European code, but I feel very vindicated coming off of the Killzone demos. You see, I not only think it's very close, I think it's dead on and maybe an improvement. So.
Because for 2 years, Peter Moore and all these guys were saying, oh, they're showing video, the game's never going to match that. I mean, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting, as Peter says, and I had the tasting and it looked pretty good. So
well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it's easy for me to say, but the bottom line is we preach it time and time again, and maybe it makes for a boring statement, but we really believe in that 10-year product life cycle, and it's not about 6 months or the first year. It's about sustaining a platform for 10 years and really having the technology to
So let's talk about the state of the PS3, and it's just starting its 10-year life cycle. You dropped the price. It's a price drop, but also, I mean, the PS3 launched at $499, the lower price SKU, so it's really not much of a drop from where it was at the launch, right? So, I mean, are you really expecting that to have a huge impact on sales?
Well, we really don't characterize it as a price drop, and it's funny. I mean, that's the way the press picks it up. We see it as an additional SKU in the 80-gigabyte PS3 that comes with MotorStorm packed in, a $60 value. We all know a 20-gig separate hard drive is sold by our competitors for $100. So we think we're giving them a new SKU at $599, and then obviously, consequently, we've reduced the price of the 60-gigabyte SKU to $499.
Well, reducing is a drop, right?
Well, yeah, but there's no question about the value in the 60-gigabyte SKU being significantly better than
Is that enough, do you think, to sort of close the sales gap? Because you're seeing the Wii outselling you, 4-1, and the 360 outselling 2-1, so far this year.
Again, I think if you're looking at that 10-year product life cycle, and I think one of the things that people lose sight of is we are a two-platform company, and we will sell 10 million PlayStation 2s. And as much as I'd love to think all the people that are buying PlayStation 2s right now are going to buy a PS3 the same day, we know that there's going to be a little bit
let's
of a
talk about the PS2 owners, because the hardcore PS2 owners are sort of down with the PS2. There's not a lot of, hardcore PS2 software coming out this year. God of War 2, I think, was the last big title. So this fall, they're going to have to make a decision. Do they buy a 360, a PS3, a Wii? What about those guys that say the PS3 is just too expensive for me? I'd love to buy one, but I'm going to have to buy a 360, and they've got, better games, some people say.
I think there's 160 games coming out for PlayStation 2, so first of all, I'd refute that PlayStation 2
But for the hardcore gamer, it's almost over, right?
Well, I don't know. If you reject all 160 games...
You're going to do God of War 3 for the PS2?
Well, I don't know. I'll see what I can do for you. I think to your second point, though, on PlayStation 3, and can they justify the $500 expense, and you're talking about the hardcore gamer. You're talking about somebody that buys 5 to 10 games a year and spends how much on software? And if you make a decision for the next 10 years and for all the software you're going to buy based on the price of the hardware, you may find yourself out of the hardware business in less than 5 years.
But some games, you look at like, Madden Football, it's running twice as fast on the Xbox 360. Third-party games, you guys have talked about PS3 would be a quantum leap. We're seeing a lot of third-party games that look as good or even better on the Xbox 360. Is that a problem?
We're in the first year, and I guess if you look at what we're most proud of, it's our worldwide studio efforts, 15 exclusives, and I think you'll see that migration in time from the third parties, but there's no question that they developed first on the Xbox 360 because it was out a year earlier. But
you got to switch that around.
Find somebody who tells me that from a technology standpoint that doesn't work for Microsoft, that PS3 isn't the more technologically advanced machine.
Well, Killzone I don't think is possible on the Xbox 360, and we'll leave it there. Thanks very much, Jack. Appreciate it. All right, well, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. Back to you, Olivia.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Now, time for another class in E3 History 101. Hardware has always been hot at E3. PlayStation started the console wars at the first E3 with a price $100 lower than the Sega Saturn. Nintendo also came to the battlefield armed with their upcoming N64. E3 2000 was all about the PS2, Dreamcast, and GameCube. Microsoft's Xbox showed, but got no respect. Could the industry handle 4 systems? Turns out it couldn't. Sega waved this white flag and in 2001 switched its focus to games only. In 2005, with the Xbox 360 and PS3 stealing the show, Nintendo spoke of there being more to games than just graphics, and they proved this with the Wii. Can Nintendo impress again this year? Only time will tell. Next time we'll show you why the convention floor isn't the only way to catch a glimpse of the action at E3. Now, Electronic Arts is the world's biggest third-party game developer. We sent game guru Adam Sessler to EA headquarters to get the inside scoop on what they have in store for us this year.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, I'm here at EA, where I've been so kindly invited to take a look at their wonderful lineup of games this year. Action, sports, the Wii, and even rock and roll. So I'm here with Jay Ballman. He is the associate producer on Skate.
It's based in physics. You jump only as high as you can in reality. As you go down hills, you're going to go faster, but if you run into a car, you're going to get worked. If you do backflips, don't grab your board, you're going to land on your head. All the animation blending that could really just bring it to life and capture that feeling of skateboarding.
If you're into demon hunting and crumpets, then Hellgate London might be your cup of tea. This game from the creator of Diablo is exclusively for the PC. All right, I'm standing here with the man, Bill Roper. How many different types and varieties of monsters? Because I've seen a lot.
I think we have about a little over 50 base monster types, and then there's variants of each monster base type, and a lot of the monsters are designed to interact with each other as well. So you'll get 2 or 3 monsters, if they get together, they start using their skills and spells to assist each other.
There are several sequels here among the new titles. Mercenaries 2 and Medal of Honor Airborne are the latest additions to some very popular series. I'm here with John Paquette. He's the creative director for Medal of Honor Airborne. This really is a new direction to take the Medal of Honor series.
It plays totally different. I mean, you're able to jump out of the plane, go wherever you want in the air, and start the level wherever you decide to start. So that's something that we haven't done in the past. But essentially, the airborne experience is about seizing, clearing, and securing the drop zone.
From air assault to ground combat, EA has the new Mercenaries 2. All right, we're here with Jonathan Zamkov. He's the senior producer on Mercenaries 2. You know, have a game with a little more expectation coming behind it. How are you going to satisfy that?
We figure we basically make everything bigger. We make everything better. We'd have bigger explosions, more high polygon vehicles, better storyline. Basically, we took the world and we just blew it out.
On the lighter side of things, EA has some fun titles tailor-made for the Nintendo Wii system and its wireless controller. We're here with Alex Heider, who's the producer, and I think the cheeriest game of the EA lineup, and that's Boogie. Now, how do you control the game using the Wii controller to get such a different variety of moves?
So there's basic moves, I mean, up and down, left and right, and then you'll cycle through the dance styles. You express yourself, you have fun being creative with music that you love.
It's fitting that we would end here because it used to be licensed games like The Simpsons that made up the bulk of EA's lineup. It was James Bond, Godfather, Catwoman. But it's clear after today that they're focusing on original games, and they're original both in concept and in their execution, and it shows a new and much stronger direction for Electronic Arts. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Adam. You guys, coming up, we have the Loop and the Fracture demo.
You guys.
Thanks, Adam. You guys, coming up, we have the Loop and the Fracture demo. You don't want to miss it. That is next on E307 Live.
E307 Live is presented by Scion. Cars that are as unique as the people who drive them. Scion, what moves you? And also brought to you by Comic-Con 07 Live. Your access to all the hottest Comic-Con happenings. July 26th and 27th at 7 p.m. only on G4.
Welcome back to E307 Live on G4. Now, every year, game developers come to E3 to debut their hottest new stuff. Last year's E3 centered on the launching of 2 new consoles, the PS3 and the Wii. This year, it's all about the software. We've got our greedy little hands on all the new titles, and we'll be seeing which games best utilize the increased firepower of the next-gen consoles. Now let's go to Kevin Pereira, who will be discussing whether video games get the short end of the joystick when it comes to censorship on the Loop.
All right, yeah, let's do it. My guest tonight, Vivendi Universal Games executive producer Pete Wannett is here, and Movie City News editor David Poland. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Loop. We have some veterans today. I want to get right into it, David. You know, some people say you look at a movie like Hostel 2, where throats are getting slashed and women are being tortured. It's graphic, it's real, it's on screen.
I love that
gets an R, of course you do. But it's not an NC-17. You put that in a video game, though, and it could never happen unless it were an alien spewing purple blood. I mean, is that fair? Is there a double standard?
Well, there are a lot of things cut out. I think the standard is actually quite similar, which is that the corporations that make these movies really don't want to have trouble. Anything that'll keep it quiet. So if you can slice a throat and nobody notices, it's fine. In the case of Hostel 2, it's being released by Lionsgate, which is a quote-unquote independent.
Right.
But the DVD is being released by Sony. So it's ironic because Sony's not going to get junked for actually putting out such a violent movie, and yet Lionsgate takes the heat. It's independent; they can do it.
Yeah, but games don't even have that luxury.
They don't have that luxury.
We're screwed right off the
digital
bat. Yeah,
distribution,
absolutely.
right?
So you know, and we can't. Even if you wanted, it's the same thing for him. Is if he put in Hostel and the Sony DVD or Blu-ray player that was playing it said, "No, sorry, we won't allow it because its rating is too stiff for what we feel our family-friendly audience."
As a game creator, then Pete, you're getting shafted by the publishers who refuse to publish those games and the hardware owners themselves who lock them out?
Sure, and if we could actually get there, maybe we'd be screwed by retail as well. So, you know, we're damned if we do on every step of the way, and there's absolutely a double standard.
And we find it amazing. We find it amazing because we've actually found a way to get around almost all of that. Because you can get a region-free DVD player, for instance, and see films from other countries you're not supposed to see.
Unrated bootleg VCDs of My Last Night's Adventures, anything goes if you have a unlocked DVD player, right?
Which is very easy to get.
Well, what's with the double standard, then? Why is it one way for video games and another way for film?
Well, I think, again, it's the thing that they can get away with it. If you don't have people pressure in Washington to say you're doing something wrong and we have to shut you down and we're going to investigate you, they're fine putting out whatever. They put out they put out kill snuff films if they would make money and nobody in Washington would say anything.
There have been groups who have complained about violence in the media. I mean, isn't it because they think that people that are playing video games are just kids?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, anytime that we have to deal with, you know, the Mario culture, that games are just for kids and, you know, happy Italian plumbers are great, but when you try to saw somebody's hands off, all of a sudden people get all up in arms. It's like, if they did it in a movie, it's a rated R. They did it in a game, it won't come out.
But study after study now has shown the average age of the gamer is getting older. I think now it's hovering around 28 or something. When will the publishers wake up and realize that maybe there is a market for adults-only games?
I think publishers are, you know, I mean, look at, you know, Manhunt, you know, 2.
Where? I can't see it because it's banned. It's not on the shelves.
Yeah,
it's
well,
not
and that's ridiculous, and that's the reason why we're here talking about it. But yeah, I mean, games have an unfair double standard compared to its.
Well, but the same thing is true in the film business because their NC-17 doesn't work at all.
Right.
There's an economic downside to having it. It's a busted rating, so they don't make movies for adults. I mean, it's that simple. So we don't get it. It's self-censorship on our part, and it's a nightmare because it really, the thing that both sides need, I think, is something that works for adults. Where ultimately, yes, things can sneak into kids' hands. It's always going to happen. I saw porno movies when I was 12 years old or whatever. But
I was making them.
Well, there you go. I heard you were very
12 and a half, Mom. Thank you, by the way. Now, Pete, as a developer, when you go, what are the ridiculous restraints that are placed upon you? Is it change this person to look less human, change the blood?
Yeah, I mean, you get all those types of comments, you know, when you're trying to reduce, if you're trying to reduce the rating. And for a long time, I thought, you know, we're really starting to make a change. Games like Grand Theft Auto and Scarface and, you know, games that push the content limit has really opened it up. So we started to feel like, you know what, wow, we really are maturing as an industry. The average age of gamers is much older now.
We've still got a long way to go.
We have a rating called adults only, but we can't let adults buy it because the companies won't even distribute the games with the rating.
It's adults only and retail never. David, I want to give you
Ironically, in corporations, though, now Coca-Cola is using Grand Theft Auto as a commercial ploy. So, you know, they've turned it into Disneyland. 42nd Street is Disneyland in New York. Everything is Disneyland.
The other big difference is his rating system. They actually have to watch the whole movie. Try to find somebody who's actually played a game start to finish.
Well, they don't even have to. You're supposed to send them selects, right?
Well, it's like somebody rating books with being illiterate, you know? Like,
well,
nobody's
books of the devil and all should be burnt. I just want to get that out there right now. Final word to you, David. Is there ever going to be a solution or a time where we see like a ratings board, an MPAA or an ESRB that actually rates video games? Will they ever come together and say, okay, enough is enough. There's clearly room for adults. Let's figure out how to rate these things fairly, or are we just going to keep continuing at the same rate?
It really comes down to money. As long as they don't see any financial upside, as long as having an NC-17 movie or an AO game seems to be something that's not going to make them as much money as making something that's more mainstream, they won't do it. And when that happens, they'll start doing it.
Pete, would you make an AO game if you could get it on the shelf?
Absolutely.
Are you dying to make one?
Absolutely.
And I'd play it.
Happen. I would play it as well several times. I want to thank you both for coming on. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for keeping us in the loop. Now, in our last poll, we asked you who you thought should be in charge of censoring video games. The results are in, folks, and apparently nobody should censor these things. What were the odds? But you haven't thought about the children. and you need to do that. They're precious. They are our future. On our next loop discussion, it's all about the Wii. Will their attempt to appeal to mainstream consumers ultimately hurt or help the gaming industry? And that brings us to our next online viewer poll question. Should more game development be geared toward experienced gamers, casual gamers, non-gamers, or should they simply target the most popular platform? Just go to g4tv.com/E3 or text E3 to G4TXT, that's 44898, and let us know exactly what you think. Now, Morgan, I hear you're actually with Stan Lee, is that true?
Yes, I am here with living legend Stan Lee. Thanks for joining us. Now, you are a fixture at Comic-Con. What brings you to E3?
Well, I thought this was Comic-Con, but I think since I'm here already, I might as well. No, actually, they have this great new Spider-Man game. I love Activision anyway. I'm here every year, and I figured a year without Activision is like a day without sunshine.
All right, so what's the new game called?
I beg your pardon?
What's the game called?
It's Spider-Man Friends and Foes, or Foes and Friends, or something very similar.
And what's so special about it?
It has all these great villains. You can be a villain, you can be a hero, you can be an ally. He allies with some of the villains, he fights the other villains, and you take your pick, and it's really great.
So who is the game aimed at? Is this for hardcore gamers? Is there a lot of blood going on?
I'd like to think it's aimed for everybody on the face of the earth, but they're specifically targeting it for kids about 8 to 12.
And so I'm kind of excited about the new co-op features. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Only if somebody explains to me what they are.
So we hear that there's co-op features so people can jump in and play at any time.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know what you meant. I thought you meant the co-op. They moved to a new place and it was opposed to a condominium, but I see what you mean. Yeah, anybody can jump in anytime, pick one of the roles, play it, and it's really great. It's hard to concentrate on what I'm saying because I see myself on the monitor and I look so excitingly interesting. But anyway, I'll try my best.
Are we going to see you at Comic-Con?
Of course you are, but there'll be about 100,000 other people there, so you'll have to look real close.
Well, we are definitely going to be there. We're going to have a huge presence there, and don't worry, I bet we're going to look you up and we'll find you.
I'll be looking forward to seeing you there.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. Back to you, Olivia.
Okay, thanks, Morgan. And Stan, don't worry. Kevin's always distracted when he sees himself on TV. It's very difficult. You guys, later on today's show, we'll get to play the highly anticipated new PS3 title, Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at the company that created it.
Naughty Dog has come a long way since the popular Crash Bandicoot franchise debuted for PlayStation in 1996. A few years later, the company created Jak and Daxter, a big hit for the PS2. Now, these innovative game makers are going into uncharted territory.
When we looked at what we wanted to do after Jak and Daxter, we had a lot of options open to us. We are now working on our new franchise, Uncharted Drake's Fortune. With the PlayStation 3, we felt that it brought us the power to tackle a real-world environment, something we could set in the modern day and still immerse that player in that experience.
This action-adventure game features Nathan Drake, a descendant of famed explorer Sir Francis Drake. Nathan is a modern-day treasure hunter and travels to an uncharted land to find his family fortune.
He is an everyman. He really survives by his tenacity and resourcefulness and gets by luck sometimes. We wanted the character to have a very human nature to him. We wanted him to, be fallible and you actually feel the stress that he feels as you're playing the game.
One of the many technical challenges that Naughty Dog faced was creating a realistic environment rather than the fantasy-based worlds in past games.
It feels like now we're making feature films, and with about the same budgets, about the same crews, and about the same amount of time. So you'll just have to work smarter and harder to make it happen.
This is so not cool!
Not only do we have to make sure the gameplay is fun, but we have to make sure that his eyeball reflects light correctly and that his eyelashes look correct and his clothes are wrinkling correctly and things like that.
Naughty Dog hopes that the Uncharted game will attract new fans, but entertain longtime Naughty Dog gamers.
So I think people that have been longtime fans of Naughty Dog's games won't feel completely shocked or left out in the cold. It's got the sense of interconnected streaming world that never drops you out of the experience. It's all very Naughty Dog.
And we couldn't agree more.
Exciting.
Yes.
The adventure game is back.
And it's not point and click.
No,
I'm okay
it's
with
not.
that now.
Our exclusive live demo of Uncharted happens right here later today.
Yes, but coming up next, more news from the floor as our correspondents get all up in the guts of this expo.
Very descriptive.
Well,
Plus, we check back with Morgan for the latest from the ongoing Game Developer Media events.
And later on, Blair will take a peek at the Wii game that everybody's been waiting for. Of course, it's Super Mario Galaxy.
Everyone's excited about that.
I cannot wait. Stay tuned, everybody. It's coming right up.
E307 Live is brought to you by Code Monkeys, a new animated comedy of 8-bit proportions. Premieres tonight at 9 p.m. only on G4.
Welcome back to E307 Live. I'm Will O'Neill, coming to you from Shutters Hotel in lovely Santa Monica. I'm here with Corey D'Angelo from Sony Online Entertainment. Now, you're going to give us the 411 on the agency now. First and foremost, you say it's an MMO. I don't see any swords, any dragons. What is this game?
This game is about spies and mercenaries in a contemporary setting doing high-paced action and adventure.
Okay, so it's not your typical MMO. I'm not running around casting spells.
No, there's no spells. You're shooting a gun. You're sneaking up on people, taking pictures. You're doing spy stuff. You're doing everything that James Bond does.
Okay, now as far as like gameplay is concerned, like as far as missions, what kind of missions are there in the game?
There's all kinds of missions. There's stealthy missions where you're trying to sneak around, plant cameras, take pictures of covert meetings. There's combat missions where you're trying to go in and just shoot stuff up and blow things down. There's vehicle missions where you're just trying to get from point A to point B before the bad guys blow up your car. There's all kinds of fun stuff to do.
Okay, now speaking of fun stuff, it's kind of a racy game, and I heard earlier something about strip clubs. Is this a racy game?
Well, we were just showing something actually in the background there that was, actually there's strip clubs and brothels. You're dealing with international threats and espionage. You got to sometimes get into the underground. You got to deal with some people that it's racier.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, thanks a lot. Sounds great. I like the whole strip club element as well. I'll go do some research later. Anyway, back to you, Olivia.
Thanks, Will. Now let's take a look at an exciting new game from LucasArts, Fracture. This shooter adds an interesting new development to the genre, terrain deformation. Using various weapons, you can literally change the ground you walk on. Let's take a look.
All right, well, we're here with Denny Thorley. You are the president of Day One Studios, the company that's making Fracture. I think for a little context for our viewers, you also were behind the MechAssault games.
Absolutely.
All right.
Studios did both MechAssault 1 and 2.
So let's jump into Fracture here. Now, let's get some background of the story inside of this game.
Well, basically, the East Coast, which is called the Atlantic Alliance, has developed technology in a cybernetic way, and the West Coast is done with genetics. And they've got a little bit of a rift going on, and basically genetic engineering becomes outlawed, and the Pacific Coast says no way and decides to secede from the Union. So we're at a point right now, it's kind of the flashpoint, happens right at Alcatraz Island, where the Atlantic Alliance says stand down, and the Republicans, Pacificans say no way, we're leaving. So this is where the first gun gets fired.
So not only is there internal strife within the United States, apparently weaponry has advanced to a rather remarkable state where you can affect the ground around you. How did that come about inside of the game, and how do you actually use it inside of it?
Well, to be honest with you, what we were looking for is one, more interactivity, and what you see John just throw right here, our character is Mason Briggs, and he's a demolition expert, and he can raise and lower the train with the weapons that he carries. He raised the train with a tectonic grenade, and this can be used for cover. It kind of reshapes the battlefield, so it helps him decide how he wants to fight his battles. The subsonic grenades take the hills back down. So we can use the moving of the train. We can use them for tactical advantage. We can use it to destroy the enemy. We can use it to get to higher ground or solve puzzles. Right now, John's deciding how he wants to take out the enemy, and he's going to get to this hill and then deal with the enemy coming up.
Now, I assume the enemy AI is also going to be good enough that you're going to have to use these tactics against them.
Absolutely. One of the challenges that we have in creating this deformable terrain is the AI has to use it as well. So they'll use some of your tactics against you, but they'll also use if we create a tectonic mound, they use that for cover as well. So they are dynamically changing how they interact with the game, and because no player plays it the same way, each time you go and play the game, it plays a little differently.
Now, the way that you go through the game, does it follow a linear model, or are you more sort of open world world in the way that you're changing everything around
It's a little bit of both. You're going into an area where we're allowing the player a great deal of variety of how he solves the objective, but he is given an objective so that he can kind of follow it. And early in the mission, you're seeing mission 2 right here. John's going to try to take out some anti-aircraft guns. And what this is just getting people used to the idea of terrain deformation, because it's very powerful and very flexible.
So it sounds like it also, like your powers in terms of how you can affect everything around you will advance throughout the game.
There's no doubt. As soon as John takes out this anti-aircraft gun, we'll show you some of the more advanced weapons really quick.
Now, what is the technology that you're having to take advantage of to be able to do this in the game? This isn't quite typical.
Well, quite honestly, this could only happen on next generation systems.
Right.
If you saw the profile of what the CPU is doing when we're doing all this train manipulation and the physics, we are maxing out both these machines, the PS3 and the 360. Now, when you put and weave everything together, this gives an experience to the player that they haven't seen before. Watch, if you go here, John's going to go up and use what is a Pacifican weapon, which is called the Bangalore. This actually shoots a rocket that travels underground. So, and then John decides when it's going to blow up. So he's going to come up to a rock here, and if he wants to like root out an enemy behind a rock or some hard point, he can fire it and then blow it up behind the rock. Okay, so really the enemies, there's a lot of variability in terms of how it gets played.
Now, also in terms of the environments that you're going to play in, this looks definitely like a wasteland or something that was once nice.
Actually, this is right outside San Francisco.
Really? I used to live in San Francisco. Oh, hi.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was right under the bridge that I lived. I used to cry myself to sleep. But what is the variety of environments that you're going to find throughout the game?
There's a significant variety of environments. The only one we're showing right now is the San Francisco. A big tectonic shift has happened due to some climate change, and the bay is dry. And so you're fighting right at the base of San Francisco and the base of Alcatraz.
Now, looking back on sort of what you've learned about making games with the Mech Assault, so how you've taken that knowledge and applied it here to Fracture?
I got to be honest with you, Mech Assault is very much about exaggerated power and very accessible. It's very easy to get in the game and play, and we've kept that with getting into Fracture. Also, our DNA is kind of multiplayer. Mech Assault was one of the initial titles on Live, and this is an exceptional multiplayer game because everything that you're seeing on the screen, you can actually do in multiplayer. So when you and I play, if you're beating me down, I can throw a tectonic mound and weave my way around and try to get out of trouble. And so the game is constantly and dynamically changing.
All right, well that's good because you just doubly sold me on it. Now, let's just make it clear, this is for the PS3 and the Xbox 360.
Yes, it is.
We're going to see it next year. Do you have any time frame for that?
Maybe next year about this time.
Exactly what I wanted to hear. Well, Denny, thank you so much. The game's looking good. Can't wait to see what it turns into.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we're going to go to Joel Gordine on the Stickam to see what you think about Fracture.
Thank you, Adam. I've got Troy from Los Angeles, California here on the Stickam with me. Troy, what are some of your favorite LucasArts titles?
Hello?
Hey, Troy, what's up? You're live.
Oh, okay. This is Caleb from Texas.
Oh, Caleb, excellent. Excellent.
Yes, okay.
Wonderful to have you, Caleb. Tell me, I love it. Tell me, what are some of your favorite LucasArts titles, Caleb?
Oh, definitely Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I was sold on the first one.
Yeah, now Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was amazing. It brings me to a great point. LucasArts in the past has been known for great innovation in their games. Monkey Island, Full Throttle, Grim Fandango. Lately we're seeing a lot of Star Wars titles, to be frank. And Fracture represents a departure from that. Do you think that is increasing your excitement for it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, whenever I first started playing, LucasArts games was on the Nintendo, and ever since then, it's definitely been building up since then. So, I mean, if Star Wars Knights of the Republic sold me, I'm definitely getting Fracture.
Maybe a little Maniac Mansion then, Caleb.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Fracture has amazing AI. How does that affect your gameplay? A good AI, a bad AI?
I want the AI to be as hard as possible. I don't want it to be a little sorry AI to where I can kill and maybe a second jumping in there. I want it to be the best AI I've ever played in a game.
For sure, for sure. It really makes or breaks a game. Adam, wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes, exactly. It's what makes or breaks me because my artificial intelligence needs some tinkering. Thank you, Joel, for reminding me of that with that conversation. Let's go to Olivia.
All right, thanks, guys. Now, recess is over, boys and girls, and E3 History 101 is back in session. For most, the convention floor is where it's at. However, through the years, the E3 media events have provided some memorable moments of their own. In 2003, Nokia had an interesting media event to promote its new system, the N-Gage, but they really delivered it when it came time to answer how much. The following year at E304, Nintendo's new face man came out to make a very strong statement. Sound up. My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass, I'm about taking names, and we're about making games.
My name is Reggie.
Remind me never to mess with a Nintendo. Okay, enough of that. Can you guys still hear me? Let's talk games. You might be surprised to learn how some of your favorite games showed. We'll have that for you tomorrow in E3 History 101. Let's check in with Morgan right now at the Fairmont Hotel. Morgan?
Hi. I went to a couple press conferences so far. We'll start off with EA. Now, they focused almost their entire press conference on casual gaming. It was a really interesting move from them. I think they saw how successful Nintendo's been with making games for the masses, and they're trying to jump on that bandwagon. One of the games they showed off was a game called Boogie, where you actually have your Wiimote in your hand and you kind of dance, and you have a character that dances along with you. You can also sing with your character, and he'll sing along with you. You can, clothe them and create your own character, and they had songs like the Pussycat Dolls and kind of fun songs like that. It sounds a little childish, but it actually looks like a lot of fun. I think it's going to appeal to a wide audience. Another fun game they showed was Playground. Now this is going to have dodgeball and tetherball and little soccer games and that kind of thing. Like a lot of fun mini games that people have a good time with at any age. They showed another quiz game called Smarty Pants. Microsoft also showed a quiz style game, so I guess people are kind of jumping on that bandwagon. They did show actually a screenshot from the Spielberg Joint Project LMNO. It was the first release screenshot. It's a woman kind of ducking away with a bird in her hands. We didn't really learn very much from the screenshot, but they gave us something. Then from Activision, they actually focused a whole lot on the Tony Hawk game. There's 3 different kind of skaters you can be. You could be a career skater to try and make money. You could be a hardcore skater. You can create your own tracks, and they're also emphasizing the fact that you can flick the analog sticks in order to nail the trick or grab the board, grab the rail, that kind of thing. So they're emphasizing a little bit more control over the board, which is going to be pretty fun. There's a skate, there's a park editor, there's a skate lounge where you can build your own skate rink, and your friends can come on over and hang out with you and skate. We saw 4 new levels of Call of Duty, and actually Guitar Hero 3 has an original track and boss battle from Slash. That's all I got. Back to you guys.
All right, Morgan. That was a lot of stuff, and we appreciate the update, but was there one thing that you personally were most excited about?
I was very excited about the track from Slash and the boss battle in Guitar Hero 3. You're actually going to have to, play against Slash, and Slash is good.
I know.
Slash is hard to beat. I'm excited
really
about that.
When we had it on our show yesterday, that was the coolest thing. All these new inventions they put onto the guitar.
I like to think that I'm kind of a boss battle when you play against me, but
you're not.
I'm
so
not. I'm actually terrible at the game.
All right,
Morgan,
thanks,
thank you so much for the update. Right now, we're going to go to
guys.
Zach Selwyn. He's got a floor report presented by Scion.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm out here on the floor with a girl who has put all the frag dolls to shame. Lily Atkins, you're hot. Who are you and why are we married? You play games? Sweet, me too.
I do play games. I'm with 2K Sports, and we're here showing off the Bigs, our all-new baseball game.
Oh, I thought when I heard the Bigs, it was something else.
Have you played it yet?
I haven't, but this looks pretty good. My man with the Louis Vuitton bag, he's hanging out getting autographs. You're like Ichiro, man. Nice job over there.
Excellent. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, right?
Hottest booth here.
Yeah, I can tell. It definitely is. So you got your regular in-the-park baseball game here, and then we got another one over here. I'm going to go see what this guy's playing. Dude, what do you got? You're playing baseball in Times Square with Jeff Kent?
The more stuff I break, the higher my score is, so how can you go wrong?
You're pretty good at this, huh?
Yeah, a lot of the testers like myself, we play it a lot, so
Well, let me see if I can distract you by blowing in your ear.
yeah, probably would distract me. Distracting.
See? My mission is accomplished in a bad way. Then, of course, we got this one. This is a New York subway. My man's about to go mess some stuff up. How real life is this? Like, have you ever knocked over a subway station with a AK-47 before?
I don't think New York is this dirty now. This is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not New York. That's the LA subway.
Exactly.
He's into his game, man. We're all into their game. Like this guy, Ryan Jones. This is a dirty game you got going on.
Back on the job, guys. Holding it down for the darkness.
Down for the darkness. We're all down for the darkness. Kevin, we're also down to go back to you on the main stage.
All right, thanks, Zach. We appreciate it. Yeah, still ahead. It's like God of War, but with a hot chick. Yeah, we've got Heavenly Sword.
That's right. And later, the makers of Jack and Dexter go fortune hunting with a very different kind of game.
Yes, plus more from the floor. This is E307 Live on G4. You got to stay with us.
E307 Live is presented by Scion. Cars that are as unique as the people who drive them. Scion, what moves you?
to G4's live coverage of E3 07. There are so many games, and as the games get more advanced, so do the titles. Here are our definitive list of the longest E3 game titles of all time.
Oh, it's all you, Mon. Let's hear it.
Number 3, The Lord of the Rings, The Battle for Middle-earth. 2, The Rise of the Witch King.
Okay.
Okay, number 2, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, Attack of the Twonkies. Pretty
Right.
good.
Okay.
And number 1, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army.
Bless you. Bless you.
Was it good? Was that a good list?
It's a great list, but it's just a ridiculous list. Could we stop with the long name?
That's why
How
I
about
made a list.
Sword Game.
Okay.
Okay, I summed it all up that easily. You're welcome, PR geniuses.
It's more fun now, though.
It is a lot more fun. All right, let's check in with Layla Kaylee to get our own daily dose of the feed.
I'm Layla Kaylee, and there's more going on in the world than just game news, and here's the latest. Starting today, Dish Network will roll out 15 more HD channels. 8 regional sports networks just turned HD, and then next month, 7 national networks go HD, including the History Channel, Animal Planet, and the Science Channel. By year's end, Dish Network expects to have the capacity to offer 100 HD channels. This news comes just days after competitor DirecTV announced that they have launched a new satellite that will allow the company to offer over 1,500 local HD channels and 150 national HD channels by early next year. The HD war rages on, and we'll see who does it best. If you ever wondered where the Simpsons' hometown of Springfield is, well, we have the answer. Springfield, Vermont has just been named the official town of The Simpsons after an online poll conducted by 20th Century Fox. The southeastern Vermont community beat out 13 other Springfields for the honor. The town put together a video showing a local TV personality playing Homer Simpson and chasing a giant pink donut through the town. As a result of winning, Springfield, Vermont will host the premiere of The Simpsons movie on July 26. Despite a less than warm reception, Superman is returning to the big screen, as well as his nemesis. It's just been confirmed that Kevin Spacey will reprise his role as Lex Luthor in the sequel, Superman Man of Steel. The script is already being written, and Bryan Singer will still direct, but not for a while. The director will shoot Valkyrie and the mayor of Castro Street first. That means the earliest we'll see the Man of Steel is somewhere in 2009. Aww. Most college students spend their time on Xbox Live, but now you can actually earn credits for gaming. The University of North Carolina, Greensboro, is now offering a microeconomics class as an online game. Econ 201 is a sci-fi adventure that teaches the player the basics of economics, like supply and demand, through an interactive story. Completing the game will get you 3 hours of social sciences credit, and you can even take the class if you're not a student at the college. Though sadly, you get 0 achievement points. Sorry, guys. And finally, it wouldn't be a news day without all the latest iPhone updates. Yesterday, we reported on a JP Morgan analyst who speculated on an iPhone Nano. The company has retracted the statement, saying they could not confirm any of the claims, but then announced they think a 3G iPhone will come in 2008. How confusing. But what we do know for a fact is that the iPhone is blendable. Blendtec, the company behind the popular Will It Blend series, released a new video where Apple's phone is put to the test. The result? A $600 smoothie. Whoa, that's expensive. Well, that's it for today, but don't worry, the feed doesn't stop here. Get all the news you need to know anytime at g4tv.com. I'm Layla Kaylee, and you've just been fed. Let's go back to Kevin and Olivia at Barker Hangar.
All right, thanks, Layla. Up next, it's time for a little sword play. We've got a hands-on demo of one of the most talked about new PlayStation 3 games.
That's right, and coming soon to the E3 Grindhouse, the martial arts bloodbath that's guaranteed to make your guts fall out. Kung Fu Master Chief.
Plus, everyone's favorite Italian plumber is back, and it's his biggest Wii adventure yet. Stay tuned for a first look at Super Mario Galaxy.
Everyone's excited about that one.
Feel these. Excited.
E3 07 Live is brought to you by Code Monkeys, a new animated comedy of 8-bit proportions. Premieres tonight at 9 p.m. only on G4. And also by Sprite with Lyman. Thank you and obey.
He was left for dead until an unlikely friend gave him a second chance.
Hello, little one.
Kung Fu Master Chief.
Hit me. No. Hit me with emotional content.
What the hell is emotional content?
Just hit him already.
Shut up, Cortana.
Don't talk back to pretty lady inside head.
The Space Marines taught him how to kill. An old friend taught him how to live.
Don't concentrate on the frag grenade or you'll miss all the heavenly glory.
What a load of crap. But then... Now, to protect those he loves,
He's your son, Chief.
You dog.
I said shut up, Cortana. He has to finish the fight. Vengeance wears a helmet at the E3 Grindhouse. Kung Fu Master, Chief.
Awesome.
That was great. Welcome back, everyone, to E307 Live, presented by Scion. I'm Olivia Munn.
And I'm Kevin Pereira. Listen, E3 is an exclusive affair this year. No tickets are being sold to the public, and the invite list, get this, was whittled down from 60,000 to just 3,000.
That's right, but not to worry. G4 is here to give you exclusive breaking game announcements, live game presentations, previews of brand new products, and to tell you what gear you need to start saving for right now. Coming up this hour, we check in with Morgan from the Midway press event where they are unveiling their new game lineup. Plus, it's his Galaxy. We just live in it. We sneak a peek at the new Mario game for the Wii. And somewhere, Adam Sessler already has his hands on Naughty Dog's new release for the PS3.
E3, but since then it's gotten even bigger and badassier. If
Is that a word?
It is now. Add it to the wiki. Right now we're going over to Adam Sessler for a demo of the brand new PlayStation 3 title, Heavenly Sword.
Made exclusively for the PS3, Heavenly Sword is more than just a martial arts combat game. It is a dramatic experience. It features Noriko, a beautiful but hardcore heroine and keeper of the Heavenly Sword who is out to avenge her father's death.
The rules are quite simple.
The designers at Ninja Theory are using state-of-the-art techniques such as facial capture technology to ensure the most emotionally charged performances ever seen in video game characters. Mixing dramatic elements with gameplay makes Heavenly Sword the most anticipated title for PS3 this year.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Now we're here with Kyle Schubel. He's the producer at Sony Computer Entertainment, who's going to be giving us a wonderful look at this game, Heavenly Sword. Kyle, let's just start off really simple. The game, it is not an arena fighter.
No, it is not.
Okay, good. That's a lot of people thought from last year. How about you hop on there and start showing what's going on to help illustrate that?
Well, just to show you. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no. You tell us what you were going to say.
Basically, to give you an idea, if it is an arena fighter, this is your arena. Because if everybody remembers some of the previous demos, we had that little building way off in the distance there in between the two waterfalls. That would be the arena from E3.
And this is an open map that more or less that is rendered there as it was rendered in that demo.
Exactly. In fact, we're going to go ahead and take a little jaunt down this rope here.
All right. Oh, yes. I've seen this before. This is awesome. This will help also illustrate a lot of the gameplay devices.
Exactly. Well, the fun one is this is actually a a hero sequence, which we use. The hero sequences are something to help you actually transition through environments and do things that are more spectacular than I would ever want anyone to have to do in a video game. This could be a touch frustrating if I actually had to physically go through and do the whole thing. Last thing I want to do is die playing my own game.
I believe this is what Kevin has been referring to as badassy.
Yes, sir. Right about there.
All right, and of course now the fighting starts. So what is the combat like inside of it? Is it like God of War, or what is the style?
Well, what we've got is you've got a combat system which is got some similarities to God of War. I mean, it is a sword fighting game with a over-the-top action as I get my butt knocked down here. But what we've got is a combat system that allows you to switch stances. We've got a speed stance here, which I'm tooling through a few guys. You also have a power stance where I'm going to merge the two swords together and make this big old great sword. As you can see, it does a little bit more damage. Now the other fun one is we've got range stance. Get away from these guys because it is range stance. I can now knock these guys around a little bit from a distance. Now the beauty is I can switch in between these. I just went from range stance to power stance, back to speed stance.
And how complex with the controller is trying to move between these various stances?
You just hit the R1 or the L1. If I don't hit anything, I'm in speed stance. If I hit R1, let me get out of that.
Well, that's good. So obviously it has complexity, but it's not going to be something we have to memorize a bunch of buttons.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things that is immediately evident when looking at this is not only is the game very attractive, but it has a very unique art direction. I know that you hired some European designers to help put together a lot of the character models.
Well, the team actually is a very global team. Ninja Theory is based out of Cambridge, England, and they are a global team. They've got people from half dozen countries. I actually don't even know the exact numbers, but I know I've already run into 5-6 different countries, people from different countries there, and it definitely shows. They tried to create a game which has, a feeling of where am I? You've got Oriental feeling buildings and outfits, but you've got Northern European characters, and obviously you look at the white skin on Neriko here, and she doesn't look like she looks like a Northern European.
Right.
But
now also with the game though, you with inside of the cutscenes, it's some of the most remarkable CG work that I have ever seen. I think you guys got some extra help, some rather well-known people here on that.
Well, the CG sequences, there was a number of hands in the pie there, so to speak. In particular, Andy Serkis was involved.
He played Gollum inside Lord of the Rings.
And, he had a small part as King Kong as well.
Right.
Something to think about. They did all of the filming at Weta, which did many of the same motion capture tricks that you saw in Lord of the Rings and King Kong. One of the benefits is that Weta keeps upgrading. Every single year they do something new or different. In particular with Heavenly Sword, they went over 80 cameras, so there were 80 digital cameras on every single motion capture scene. It was the most in the world at that time. And also they did some amazing things with the facial motion capture. They had, you've seen ping pong balls on mocap before. Well, these are like peas, and they put 30, 40
that many more levels of articulation inside of the character. Well, one thing that we haven't touched on yet, though, and if we can get back in and do some more ass kicking, is why? Why is this woman suddenly possessed with such a large sword and amazing strength? What is the story behind this?
Well, the Heavenly Sword is historically a weapon which was bestowed upon man, and that weapon was given to a heavenly warrior, and he used it to eradicate, evil. There was a overlord who was holding mankind under his foot, and they used this sword with the heavenly warrior to be able to take it down. Now, the clan of the sword, the clan that Neriko comes from, is the clan that was basically bestowed with the sword to protect it from mankind because it's too powerful for any normal human, to be able to wield. The mere fact that she uses the sword actually means that she's risking her life, and she's taking the ultimate sacrifice to save her clansmen and her father, to prevent King Bohan, who happens to be Andy Serkis in the game, the big evil bad guy.
And that's the big Jabba-looking guy.
Yes, exactly. Oh, well, no, not the huge Jabba-looking guy. That's actually Roach. The king that you saw with the goblet in the video. Okay. Yes, the one with the good sense of humor.
Now, one more thing also is that while we're seeing some combat here with a handful of enemies, there are some things planned for later in the game that will really impress people in terms of the numbers of enemies on screen.
Absolutely. What the team has really been able to pull off is a phenomenal thing, and only possible on the PS3. With the SPUs, they've been able to get over 1,000 characters functioning on screen with their own AI. So you actually are engaging entire armies. As you master the Heavenly Sword, your powers almost become godlike yourself, just as you're about to make the final sacrifice.
That sounds like Dynasty Warriors, but fun.
Don't even want to touch that one.
Take it down with your colleague. All right. Well, obviously, Kyle, this game is definitely one I'm very excited about. I'm really glad that we got a chance to look at that and be able to share it with everyone out there. Once again, good luck, and I can't wait. When will we see the game?
September.
September. All right. Can't wait for that. Now we're going to go to Joel and his Stickam to see what one of our viewers thinks.
Thank you, Adam. I've got Tanner here on the Stickam. Tanner, how you doing, man?
Yeah, fine.
Oh, good. Tanner, do you think Heavenly Sword has the potential to be a flagship title for the PS3?
I don't know. With the PS3 lacking in games, it would definitely have to make up for how many they're missing.
This is true, yeah. Well, we see, Tanner, you're an action game fan, right?
Well, of course.
You talk man to man. You played God of War 2.
Honestly, no, I haven't.
Okay, well, it's a last great PS2 title, so now we're moving to PS3. But what kind of depth are you going to need from Heavenly Sword to make it that must-have title?
Well, it definitely would need a good fighting techniques and everything like that to make up for any tough bosses you ever go up against.
Right, so we're going to need more in-depth combos, bosses, more than just visuals. That's what I think we're definitely going to need, without a doubt.
Of course.
Without a doubt. All right, so back to you, Kevin Olivia. That is word on Heavenly Sword.
All right, well, thank you very much, Joel. Well, you know, this summer, the Electric Playground is G4's behind-the-scenes look at the video game industry. Well, it's back with all new episodes appearing exclusively on G4TV.com. Now, the Electric Playground features they have celebrity interviews, game previews, and industry news, as well as first looks at all the hottest new tech toys, gadgets, and comic books. And new episodes will be appearing exclusively on our website once a week, all summer long. So if you want more info, go to G4TV.com/Electric Playground. And Kevin, what do you have?
I have a little tease for what's coming up. We appreciate it, Adam. Actually, Morgan has even more hot media event action going on later.
Plus, we got another lady in the house. Blair gets the latest Mario Wii adventure. That's right, the little dude with the white gloves and overalls is back, and this time, he's in outer space. All this, I don't know. All this and more coming up next. So stay tuned. Find out how he does it.
He went through the wrong pipe.
Must have.
Welcome back to our exclusive ongoing coverage of E307. We are, in fact, coming to you from the site of this year's Electronic Entertainment Expo. It's the Barker Hangar right here in Santa Monica, California.
We have more than a dozen cameras here and all around the city bringing you all the news and excitement live as it happens.
Now, we also have the entire G4 squad out and about digging up the latest info right now.
A squad? We call them a squad now?
Well,
We're a squad?
They're a strategic attack force, if you will.
Okay.
That sounds too violent this day and age. We're going to go to Morgan Webb, who has an update from the Midway Media event. Miss Webb, how's it going? Really?
It's going great, guys. Sorry, I'm just pulling myself out of the Midway press conference to bring you guys a little bit of an update. They brought us a couple Wii games, which are less exciting. I think most people are excited about Stranglehold, which of course is John Woo, Chow Yun-fat. It looks like it is just filled with action. I'm very excited. I love playing anything with Chow Yun-fat. I even played the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon game, and that was not a good idea. If you buy the PS3 version, you're going to get a Blu-ray copy of Hard Boiled, which I think is going to be worth every penny. I can't wait to see that in high definition. Of course, they also have Black Site Area 51. It's going to be a multi-platform game, and it's a first-person shooter that does use the Unreal 3 engine. It's going to ship in September, but in August, we are going to see a full demo that people are going to be able to play, which is going to be great. There's co-op mode, and of course, there's also a lot of squad-based gameplay, so you can actually, you tell your compatriots where to go. But a cool feature is that if you suck, then they're going to suck. There's a morale system going on. So if you're given bad orders, if they're getting shot at a lot, if they're dying, they're going to start to question your orders. They're not going to listen to you anymore. So it's really important to do well from the very beginning. So that's pretty cool. I'm very excited about that. And we also have Unreal Tournament 3. It's going to be PC and it's going to be the PC and the PS3 in 2007 and which is very cool. So in 2007 and 2008, we're actually going to see the Xbox 360 version. Back to you guys.
Okay, so that's cool. Confirmation that it's not PS3 exclusive forever.
That is a good thing.
But now, Morgan, you mentioned the squad-based tactics in Black Site. If you suck, I get it. Your squad sucks as well. But if you do good, was there any indication that the AI was at all halfway decent, that they would do good along with you?
If you do well, if you're going to give good orders, they're going to really perform very well for you, and they're going to do a little bit better. So it's really important for you to do well from the beginning.
All right. Well, that means I'm out entirely.
No, you're pretty good.
I suck at games.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Thanks so much, Morgan. Now, at each E3 announcements are made that send shockwaves through the world of gaming. Here is our list of the top 5 E3 announcements of all time. First up, last year's introduction of the playable Nintendo Wii. That's right, Kevin's excited. That same year, we found out that Grand Theft Auto 4 was losing PlayStation exclusivity. In 2003, Half-Life 2 was unveiled. And 2002 marked the reveal of Xbox Live. And finally, the original mind-blowing E3 announcement, the unveiling of the Nintendo 64 in 1996. On that top 5, do you have a top one you like?
I think the unveiling of Half-Life for me was just such a turning point. It got me back to feeling excited about games. It was something that I wasn't expecting at all. I had no idea what was going on.
Have you lost that excitement for gaming?
No, I mean, really, this year, again, the focus is on the software, not on the hardware and kind of crappy titles that were whipped up for it. This year is the year that I'm finally getting excited to be a gamer again.
It's cool. Going out there, it's just all games.
Yeah.
All games.
Miss the booth babes. Not gonna lie. I miss
well,
chartreuse.
I think you and Zach and Joel and Adam all miss those booth days, especially Will.
We speak for the gamers. Up next, get ready for the return of the Game World's Italian Stallion. Of course, talking about Mario, he's back, and this time, he's out of this world, Olivia.
Literally.
Literally, actually. We're going to see what's making noise, of course, on the buzz meter. Stay tuned. There's so much more coming up right here.
He jumps like this.
Snatch that Bravia.
Snatching it up. Snatching that up. Hey, welcome back. You got it? Last year's E3
It was a gravy reference, don't ask.
saw the introduction of one of the most groundbreaking new consoles of all time. You know what it is?
The Nintendo
Wii.
64. Oh, the Wii,
The
yes.
Nintendo Wii.
Now let's go to Blair Butler with what's sure to be the hottest Wii title of the year. It's the all-new Super Mario Galaxy.
Thanks, Kevin and Olivia. I am here at Nintendo with Joel to talk about Super Mario Galaxy. Now, I've had a chance to play the game, and it's got some really crazy gravity physics.
Yeah, the new thing about Super Mario Galaxy is you have different planets that you travel to, and the gravity affects the game where if you fall off a level, you don't actually fall to your death, you'll fall to like the other side of the level, and it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was neat when I was playing it. I wanted to turn my head upside down because you're just running upside down.
You're running on the bottom side of the sphere, and it does it gives you a new perspective to the game, and it's kind of mind-bending.
Yeah. Now tell me about the Wiimote and the co-op.
Okay, well, with the remote, they have new functionality where doing a spin move, you shake the remote and you'll actually spin and stun different enemies. And then they also have a co-op mode where if your friend's sitting next to you on the couch, they can actually collect different items for you and stun enemies and actually help you along with in your game.
Very cool. Now, much like some of the earlier Mario games, instead of a Tanuki suit, this time you get a bee suit.
Yeah, you actually get a bumblebee suit, and it gives you the ability to fly for a little bit. And you can also collect different items there and do different things that a bumblebee do. It's really cute, and it's a great new suit.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much. Super Mario Galaxy will be out November 12th. Back to you guys.
Oh, November 12th.
People are always excited about Mario, but is it really as fun as playing like Halo or God? I mean, do you really get into it as much?
It's a different type of game, different type of
Definitely
genre.
different.
But people are psyched for Mario games because they're always evolutionary. They always break some sort of ground. Mario's going to be dressed like Busy Bee in this one. He's wearing a bee costume.
I know.
Sign me up.
And he's in space somewhere.
Plumbers in space. That is crazy. What's next?
What it is brilliant.
Monkeys Who Write Code.
Well, absolutely, Kevin. Code Monkeys is the name of the brand new animated comedy. I see where you're going.
You're welcome.
That comedy is debuting tonight on G4. We'll be talking with the creator of the series right after this. That's Adam De La Pena.
He smells delicious.
Plus, our own Adam Sessler is going to get a first crack at the hot new PS3 title, Uncharted Drake's Fortune. So you guys stay tuned.
He's dressed as a bee.
I know.
Do the bee dance. Yeah, get some. Welcome back to G4's live coverage of E3 07 presented by Scion. This is it, the biggest gaming event of the year, and G4 has been here since the break of dawn, showing you every glorious minute.
And it has been glorious. We just saw Blair having an awesome time playing Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, but some hardcore gamers have been critical of Nintendo's use of the Wii to appeal to more mainstream consumers.
True.
Could the success of the Wii hurt gaming in general? We'll be discussing this issue tomorrow on The Loop, but right now, we want to know what you guys think. Go to g4tv.com/E3 to take our online poll, or text E3 to G4TXT, that's 44898, on your mobile phone, or cell phone as the kids call it these days.
It's portable.
Now let's go to Will O'Neill reporting from one of the swanky hotels on the beach that are playing host to big name companies.
Thanks, Olivia. I'm here at THQ where they're showing off a ton of exciting titles like The Blob and Destroy All Humans 3. But the game we're most excited about is Darksiders. I'm here with David Adams, who's going to tell us a little bit about the game. So, for instance, I hear you get to play one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, you play War, the guy that brings and takes peace from the earth. So it's basically a superheroic being. And you get thrust into this open world. It's not linear like typical action adventure games, so he has freedom of exploration. And we really wanted a character that could do a lot of stuff, so he can like pick up cars and throw buses and use lampposts to kill demons. In addition to that, you collect a bunch of cool mythical weapons like Death's Scythe and his mythical sword. And of course, being a horseman of the apocalypse, at some point in the game you get control of his steed, which is cool because it's instead of like having a completely different mode, all his abilities extend off of the horse. We really kind of thought of the horse as an extension of the character, so he's not just like an added feature in the game. It's very integrated to the gameplay.
Okay, very cool. But okay, so now you're playing one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, which also killing demons. Is that almost like cannibalism?
No, he's not really demon or angel. You actually fight angels in the game too. So it's long after the apocalypse has already occurred, all the humans are already dead, and he's sort of on a quest for revenge, and the angels and the demons are both sort of in his way, so he kind of indiscriminately kills everything.
Well, there you go. Sounds great. Now back to you, Olivia.
Thanks, Will. Up next, can Adam Sessler cash in on Drake's fortune? What do you think?
I'm jealous that he gets to play it.
Well, we'll find out right here on G4, so you guys don't go anywhere.
E307 Live is presented by Scion. Cars that are as unique as the people who drive them. Scion, what moves you? And also brought to you by Comic-Con 07 Live. Your access to all the hottest Comic-Con happenings. July 26th and 27th at 7 p.m. only on G4.
Welcome back to E307 Live on G4. It is day one of the gaming industry's largest annual blowout.
Yeah, in the 12 years since E3 began, gaming and, of course, the games that we actually play have changed a ton.
Right. Joining us now is a man familiar with classic gaming. He is the creator of a brand new G4 show with a very old school look. It's called Code Monkeys, and here to tell us about it is Mr. Adam De La Pena.
Adam, get on over here.
Adam, you coming over here?
We got you tethered down, but come on in here, buddy. He was over there pitching the show to everybody on the side. I know you're excited, but
I am.
We actually have a clip of the show.
All right,
let's look at it.
I would love to look at it.
Do we know what it is?
I really don't actually know what. I hate when people go, I don't know what it is.
Is that one of those moments where like, oh, I don't know.
I really don't know.
Well, you know what? I know.
What is it?
It has a monkey, and they're deciphering codes.
That sounds exactly. That sounds right. That sounds right.
Okay,
take a look.
Let's take a peek.
Hey, Mary, meeting in the break room.
Dave, this is the women's spa.
What? I ain't looking, but I am taking pictures. Hello.
Hey, Mary, how's that game you're working on going?
Great. I think Red Ronda is really going to teach girls about their periods and be action-packed so boys will want to play too.
That is totally cool.
Dude, you are never going to bone her.
Dave!
Mary, tell him you're unbonable. The door is locked.
Out!
Wait, but maybe the back door isn't.
Security!
Knock, knock. Who's there? Ow!
Hey, is there a problem here?
We're just leaving.
Okay, everyone's dying here. I have to ask you. So this show obviously looks like there's been some thought put into it. Is this something you've always wanted to do? Is there an inspiration behind this? Did you, when G4 came to you?
Right. Well, I wanted to not have wasted my life playing video games, which I feel I haven't, and I wanted to do a show where I could earn a living, using my video game knowledge. So it was like the perfect mix of not wasting my life and doing it.
Why 8-bit with the graphics looking as amazing as they are right now? Is it just to get a team of 6 animators?
I try to just kind of half do everything in my life. I don't want it to be too big. I don't want too much work.
You set the bar at like the kneecap height.
Yeah, if you're the kneecap level, you can just, hop up the bar. Anything else, it's like more.
I love the gaming nods. Like, it's not just about, yes, it's about a game company. There are overarching storylines, but I love all the in-jokes for gamers. I mean,
yeah, it's important that those things are in there because it's for people who play video games, and it's also for people who've never played a video game, which, of course, we know there's nobody that hasn't played a video game.
Now, here's what's amazing is that this is a new series, but already you already have so many big-name celebrities who have already lent their voices. Now, episode 1 has a big guy in there. Everyone knows.
Episode 1 is Steve Wozniak, founder of Apple Computer.
Riding his Segway, which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait, how did you get him?
I literally found this number. I'm not going to say where. Internet. And
I thought you were gonna go bathroom stall.
Well, maybe.
Really?
And I called him and I was like, hello, and I, thought I was gonna get an assistant. Steve Wozniak.
No.
He's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, hey, you want to be on my show? And he's like, sure. I didn't even tell him about it. I could just make it.
I would love his number. I could be like, hey, Steve, can I have $1 million? Sure, great.
Yeah.
I love it. I know you're excited. You're gonna have a viewing party. Is the entire audience invited?
Everybody's invited, and if it's not good, I guarantee the audience will get a special surprise. That's how confident I am.
Well, Adam, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Best of luck with the series Code Monkeys. It's debuting tomorrow. Actually, it's premiering tonight. I'm sorry.
Tonight
at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Only on G4. For more info, head to g4tv.com/codemonkeys. And thank you so much, Adam De La Pena.
Thanks so much.
My favorite name to pronounce, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You can say it over and over again.
Adam
as
De
you
La
read.
Pena.
De La
Adam De La
Pena.
Pena.
We
De La
appreciate it.
Pena.
Coming up, welcome to the jungle, baby. It's the exciting new PS3 action-adventure title, Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. Meanwhile, let's actually see what's buzzing on the old buzz meter. Don't go away, everybody.
De La Pena.
Well done, sir. Welcome back to E307 Live and only on G4. We're here in Santa Monica, California to bring you the gaming event of the year.
It has been non-stop game scoop and first look previews for us, and we aren't finished yet.
Not even close. Right now, Adam Sessler really gets to break new ground. I'm very jealous. He has an exclusive from Naughty Dog. It's Uncharted, Drake's Fortune.
All right, I am here with Evan Wells. He is co-president of Naughty Dog, and you're here with Drake's Fortune, which initially is probably going to be a shock to everyone because this does not look like the typical Naughty Dog game.
No, it's not.
No, it doesn't. And let's just get this out in the open. This is not a Tomb Raider clone. I know you're tired of hearing it. I'm here to also say that myself.
Thank you very much.
How would you characterize the game?
Well, it is an action-adventure game. I wouldn't want to pigeonhole it into one genre only. We actually are trying to combine the best best aspects of a platformer and a third-person shooter.
So, obviously, you have some environmental things that you have to try to overcome to be able to get treasure, I assume.
Yes, yeah, we're actually stressing and emphasizing 3 pillars of gameplay. We've got our traversal elements, which are more traditional platforming elements like from Jak and Daxter. And then we're also throwing in some really crazy hand-to-hand melee combat, and then some just over-the-top action with our gunplay.
Now, one of the things that everybody's been commenting on is not only does the game look good, but the animations, especially of the main character, Nathan, are exceptional. They're very smooth and very lifelike. How did you accomplish this?
Well, we've got some very, very talented animators at Naughty Dog, yes. I think the collection of the best in the industry, actually. And we just wanted to put a lot of emphasis on it. We knew that the hardware alone was going to give us a big step forward in the graphical presentation, so we wanted to make sure that the animation kept up with that.
And also, Nathan tends to take on sort of behaviors, that show how he's feeling at the time, if he's being shot, if he's wounded, if he's in danger.
Sure, it's not just about the way his body moves, but we also want to make sure that his face expresses the emotion of whatever situation he's in. So if he's stressed, you're going to see it on his face, or if he's confident or scared, it'll all come through in his facial animation.
Now, when it comes to combat, I played a little bit of this, and this is very much a duck and cover. You have to be very aware of your environment and how you enter these battles, which are quite difficult.
Yeah, the cover system is very important. I mean, if you stay out in the open too long, you're going to get killed. So you really got to find the best place to engage the enemy from. And that's where the traversal elements come in as well, because you can actually find areas of opportunity by climbing up on top of things and getting advantageous positions in the environment.
So let's also get a little bit of the story. I know that this sequence actually isn't the beginning of the game, as people might think. How do you find yourself looking for fortune?
Yeah, well, actually, the part of the game here that's being played is the first part of the Spanish settlement that you come across on this uncharted island. And Nathan Drake is exploring and trying to find the El Dorado treasure, which Sir Francis Drake was on the trail.
And he is a descendant of Sir Francis Drake.
As he thinks he is, yes, and he's actually proved his lineage there. And so he finds himself in this Spanish fort looking for the treasure. The pirates are there. They're giving him a hard time.
Now, would you, even though it looks so different and it sounds so different from the previous games that Naughty Dog has put out, how would you characterize it as being similar? Is it very similar, not so similar, or very different?
Well, and we're always doing third-person action games, so we really want to get the character on screen so you can feel a connection with who you're playing. It's not just about being first-person. We think that you can make a really fun, engaging game third-person as well. And then, of course, we've always wanted to have story-based games. In this game, we've taken it to the next level. We knew the sophistication of the graphics was advancing. We wanted the sophistication of the story to follow suit.
And I think it is definitely working. Let's get a few things out of the way. It doesn't have any multiplayer, which I don't think is an issue there. And when can we expect to play this game?
We are preparing this for the holiday season this year.
All right, this year. I cannot tell you how excited I am to play this. I hope everyone else is, and I wish you the best in finishing it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, now we're going to Joel Gordine, the man with the stick cam, to get your reaction to Uncharted.
Thank you, Adam. The man with the stick cam is back. I've got Leanne from Indiantown, Florida. Hi, Leanne.
Hi.
Tell me, Leanne, who would you pick to win in a fight? Would you take Sir Francis Drake or Magellan?
I'd take Drake.
Oh, well, that's exactly the right answer, Leanne. Pirate made Spanish piracy legal. Let's talk games. I'm a history buff, but let's talk some games, all right? We just heard in Adam's interview that in Uncharted, emotion is going to be an important part of conveying the story, kind of make you more immersed in the adventure game. Why is that so important to a next-gen title?
Well, with next-gen titles, there are a lot of better graphics and stuff, so they can express these emotions better. And also, it helps you feel more like you're in the game and not just playing it.
I think you're exactly right. I think in adventure games, the connection you feel with the character is by far the most important element. So thanks a lot, Leanne. Adam, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Joel, and back to you, Olivia.
I like just tossing it around. Okay, everyone, coming up, more exciting game news. E307 Live. We'll be right back. Thanks.
Oh, hey everybody, we're back. Welcome. Today we hit you in the face with a fistful of games, and tomorrow
your descriptions today.
The beat down continues.
Wow.
Adam and Joel, take it away, guys.
All right. Well, Joel.
Oh, Adam, I'm just getting comfy like you up here.
That's exactly. You need the tie to get the ultimate level of comfort here. Okay,
Absolutely.
so what's the buzz?
Welcome back. You know, let's see what the buzz is on today's titles. I'm finding this out right now with you. Let's see.
I can't wait.
Dun, 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 dun. Galaxy. Galaxy has a good amount of buzz. Maybe like an E-Honda, 100-hand slap to the skull. You know, you're dizzy. You can't move.
Now, obviously, Burnout Paradise also seems to have the same level of buzz.
Maybe you're crashing into 8 million things at once. Heavenly Sword, almost to the max because it's just that sweet. It is that
Haze
good.
didn't have as much. I think it's probably because we don't know as much about the game
Possibly,
as well.
yes,
All
definitely.
right, Joel. We're going to see you tomorrow. And speaking of, here's Kevin and Olivia with a bit about tomorrow's continuing live coverage of E3.
Kevin and Olivia.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, that wraps up the first day of G4's live coverage of E3 2007, but we have only just begun. Tune in tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for day 2. We'll have even more exclusive insider interviews and tons of demos like BioShock, Call of Duty 4, Rock Band, and many more.
I cannot wait. And if you can't wait until then, you can always go to g4tv.com/E3 for additional exclusive E3 coverage, behind-the-scenes photo galleries, and interviews with all of our E307 live hosts. Of course, if you missed anything from today, you can always go to G4 On Demand for the day's highlights or our PlayStation 3 portal.
Right. Remember, there's only one way to get into this year's expo, and that's by tuning in right here.
Coming up next on G4, though, Adam De La Peña's brand new show.
Coming up.
Exciting.
Get ready.
Premiere of his animated series, 8-Bit Proportions. Code Monkeys.
See you guys.